It's been revealed that Claire's real name is Beatrice. That's right. We have yet another Beatrice. Adding to our long list of Beatrices, I think we're at 6 or 7 now. Honestly, you stop counting past 3, there's just too many of them. Still, let's hear what she has to say. After yet another twist. And what of this form? Yeah, this like pale green yellow. Interesting choice. Yeah, is this the form of the new Beatrice? Seems to be the case. How beautiful. Like a noble princess. I was not thinking that. It's... It doesn't make me think princess. It does make me think someone's wearing a sports bra over a corset, over a lacy corset though, and that's kind of strange. Still, they got their pastel green going for them, and their urine yellow clothing. Oh boy, not the finest color palette, honestly. The greens are consistent, but I think the actual clothing design is a miss for me. There's some parts that are okay, but I'm not sure the outfit and the color palette work together. I've taken a liking to this form. This will be quite satisfactory. Well, as long as you're happy with it, that's really all that matters. Not bad. Gop's is better. I think the red with the blonde hair, the golden blonde hair kind of works. And like the white trim kind of does it, and then this outfit's kind of cool. Like even if it didn't have this giant gap in the side, I think it would still look pretty good. It would just be very red, and you'd probably want a little bit more white to break things up. But as it is, there's this giant gaping hole along the entire left side of the outfit that keeps it from seeming too monotonous. Not bad, not bad. You look great, Beato. I like it. Really like this form.
Now
if you can keep this up and give me a great name, a wonderful name, that would be great. If I have to go around nameless for too long, I'll get all sulky. Or not, I shall find you a splendid name. But first, there's something else I must consider. What shall be the form of my magic? I mean, hiding objects and transporting them instantaneously is kind of your theme. No, we wouldn't want to steal from her. That would be mean. So I gotta think of my own particular theme of magic. I hereby name you Side Booba. It's 20th century. That's 21st century. This is the 20th century. When I use magic, gold butterflies will flit about. Gold. Your color palette, the color palette of your magic is gold, but you went with pastel green. Pastel green and yellow gold don't go well together. Come on. I'm not backing down on that part. I'm not telling you to. I'm just saying, you know, your color palette needs some work. Perfect. That really would make you a golden witch.
Then
the weaknesses such as spiderwebs and the sacred mirror in the shrine will also go to you? Indeed.
万能の魔女にも何かささやかな弱点があった方が
mean,
面白い
even in
と
all-
いうもの。
Even an all-powerful witch needs a few small weaknesses to keep things interesting. After all, what good is a villain if they don't have a way to be beaten, I suppose?
ではこうしよ
Let's do it
う。
like
雲の
so.
糸に触れたらやけどをするということとする。
If I touch a spider web, it will burn me. Suddenly, a silvery spider dropped down vertically. Beato, now in her new form, lightly touched the silver spider web that trailed out behind it. As she did, there was a faint sound of flesh burning, and a thin burn was left across her fingers. Beatrice can't stand spiderwebs. It was one of the weaknesses of evil spirits Kumasawa-san spoke of. Since the witch Beatrice had revived thanks to the power of those evil spirits, she had also inherited their weaknesses. Okay. Therefore, sacred mirrors are another one of my weaknesses. However, that sacred mirror in the shrine isn't too likely to appear in front of me often. That's not fun.
では霊力のある鏡は無論のこと、鏡自体も苦手ということにしよう。
Well, then, mirrors with sacred power will obviously be a weakness. Let's make mirrors themselves a weakness too.
鏡って魔力があるってよく言うものね。
I mean, you often hear that mirrors have magical powers. Sure, why not make mirrors your weakness?
いいんじゃない？
Isn't
い
that
かにも
nice?
魔女っぽい
Isn't
感
that
じ
nice?。It's just like a witch.
鏡を見ると魔力が吸い取られる感じがするので苦手ということにしよ
If I look at a mirror, it feels as though my magical power is being sucked out, so I'll try to avoid them.
う。面白そうだ。
It could be quite interesting. If I really think about it, I'm bad with mirrors whether I make that rule or not. No matter who I want or strive to be. The only face that will ever show in a mirror is the heartlessly pathetic and realistic face of Yasu. Mirrors, which always force me to face my shabby reality, are something I want to avoid. That's right. I hate mirrors. I don't want to see my pitiful self.
一度に何もかも決めなくていいわ。
Oh, you don't need to decide everything at once.
世界をゆっくりと作り上げていくのだって。
It's fun to build up a world one
とて
bit
も
at
楽
a
しいのだから。
time.
うむ、
True, true.
分かっている。
I
ゆっ
understand.
くりと魔女の生活を楽しみながら、わらわの世界を膨らませてゆこうぞ。
I'll enjoy life as a witch as I slowly expand my world.
あの狭くて暗い部屋はもうあんたの寝床じゃないわね。
Well, that tiny dark room's no place for you to sleep now.
うむ、
Indeed.
わらわこそは黄金の魔女。
I'm the Golden
六
Witch.
軒島の夜の支配者なれば、夜の屋敷はわらわのもの。
I'm the ruler of Rockenjima's night, and the nighttime mansion belongs
わ
to
ら
me.
わの住まうべきは屋敷ではないか。
This is where I should make my home, is it not?
ベアトリーチェの部屋
A room for Beatrice?
決まってるじゃないか
Why isn't it obvious?
そうね。
That's right, that's right.
お屋敷の2階のあの素敵な部屋。
That wonderful room on the second floor of the mansion.
魔女の貴賓室こそベアトリーチェの部屋じゃないか
The VIP room of the witch just has to be Beatrice's room.
おお、そうであったな。
Oh, that's right.
今
That's
宵
right.
より、わらわが住まうは夜の屋敷のあの部屋ではないか。
From this evening forward, that room in the nighttime mansion shall be my dwelling place.
これはうっかりしていた。
Why didn't I think of that myself?
じゃあ行きましょう。ベア
Then let's go, Beato.
魔女が2人お茶をするならあんな狭い部屋じゃなくて
If we're gonna drink tea
ふ
together,
さ
we'll
わし
need
い
a much
素
better
敵な
room
部
than
屋
that
でするべ
cramped
きだわ
one.
そうであるな。友
Indeed.
人を招いて茶を振る舞うには、あの部屋は粗末が過ぎる。
That room is far too crude for entertaining friends and serving
部
tea.
屋を変えよ
We'll change
う。有
rooms.
効ではないか。
Let's go, my friend.
我が
シャノンとはお別れね。
So this is goodbye to Shannon. When I looked at my feet, I could see my own dorm room far beneath me. I could see Shannon, who had dashed up to the bed I lay on and had been saying wait at the moment time froze. She was as rigid as a doll, and looking down at it from this height, it really did look like a small dollhouse.
さらばだシャノン。
So long,
人間
Shannon!
としてそなたを目標にそなたと友情を育みながらの日々も楽しいものであったぞ。
The days I spent as a human with you as a goal and a constant comfort were truly fun.
もしわらわが魔法の閲楽を知ることなく魔女に開眼することがなかったなら
If I had never learned the joys of magic and awakened as a
それ
witch,
はこれからも変わらなかったであろうな。
well, everything would doubtless have remained as it was. I was your only close friend too, wasn't I? Please forgive me for erasing that friend so suddenly. As a parting gift, I'll erase me from your world. Starting now, this will not be a two-person room. It will be a single-person room with just you in it. I hope you continue to strive for your ideal and try to become a kind, reliable servant loved by everyone. Yasu, the stupid, clumsy servant who lost things all the time, doesn't exist anymore. So long, Shannon! When I mature as the witch Beatrice and stride through the nighttime mansion where I will, I may bump into you as you do your nighttime rounds. However, when I meet you again, it will not be a reunion. It will be our first meeting. After all, though you've heard the rumors of the witch Beatrice, you've never met her. So long, Shannon. Let us meet again sometime and spin up some fun tale. And with that, we part ways with Shannon, leaving us with two Wait! This leaves us with what? Two distinct personalities? And memory loss between the two, maybe? What? What was I doing? Was I talking in my sleep? Apparently I'd gotten out of bed, stretched my hand out towards it, and said, wait. This isn't the first time I've woken up to find myself saying something strange, but I don't remember ever waking up to find myself out of bed and standing up. Could this be what they call sleepwalking? Am I just tired? I've got to get to sleep. Gotta sleep. Gotta get back to sleep. I turned around to face my bed. My bed wasn't there. There was no bed in this room except the one I had just turned my back on. If I'm the only one in this room and the only bed is the one behind me, that must mean it's my bed. That feels wrong for some reason. The bed sheets are all disarranged as though someone slipped out of them. Who did... This is a single-person room with me in it, right? So that there is my bed and the traces of someone crawling out. I mean, I was just sleeping there until a second ago? But for some reason, that bed doesn't feel like my bed. However, though all the other kids shared rooms, I, Shannon, was given a single-person room. There's only one bed, and it must be mine. It must be mine. A little bit more malicious than it should sound.
私
Am I just
疲れてる
tired?
の
I
か
think
な
so. I wonder. I must just be half asleep. School starts early tomorrow morning, and when school ends, I want to go to the mansion, help out with some work, and talk to Kumasawa-san about the mystery novel I just read.
寝よう
Time to sleep.
きっと疲れてるからおかしなことを考えちゃうのね
Probably just so worn out I'm imagining things.
おやすみなさいシャノ
Night, Shannon.
布団に包まれて静かに目を閉じれば
Crawl in bed and close your eyes,
何も難しいことは考えなくていいんだよ
and you won't have to think about anything complicated. I went back into my bed. It felt a bit uncomfortable to crawl into a bed that wasn't quite mine. Still, it might just be because I'm getting sleepy, but it's starting to feel as though it is my bed after all. I'm just half
私
asleep.
はシャノン
I'm Shannon,
一人ぼっちの使用人
a lonely servant.
時々失敗もしちゃうけど
I mess up from time to time.
誰からも愛される優しい使用人になりたい。
That I want to become a kind servant whom everyone loves.
おやすみ、
Good night.
私。
Me. Good night, me. Oyasumi watashi. Right. Is that the end of a chapter, Claire?
は
Slash Beatrice?
我こそは我にして我らなり。
Oh, I am one yet many.
もう使用人ごっこは飽きた。
I've had enough of playing the servant.
人間ごっこは飽きた。
I've had enough of being human.
これより我は
I could say the
今宵より
same
我
thing
は
at times.
ベ
From
ア
this
ト
night
リーチ
forth,
ェ。
I am Beatrice. I've never said I am Beatrice except, well, in reference to quoting this novel.
千年を経た黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェであるぞ。
Golden Witch Beatrice has lived for 1,000 years.
たたえよ使用人ども。
Praise me, servants.
怯えよ。夜回りに選ばれたることを。
Have fear when you are chosen for the night shift.
夜の島は屋敷はすべてわらわのもの。わらわの時間。
For you see, in the nighttime mansion, everything is mine, for that is my time.
ああ、我こそは
Mine
我にして我らなり。
I am yet one of many.
さあ、我らの世界にて
I'm one
すべてを飲み込もう。
Let our world swallow up
それは
everything,
まるで波動のように。
like the
や
raging
れやれ。
seas.
今夜
Well-
も人間の書物を魚に神秘の月を飲み干そう。
Let's drink the mysterious moon dry tonight, but this human book is a side dish.
これがミステリー。
You call this a
こ
mystery?
れが密室。
You call this a closed
これ
room?
が人間には不可能な犯罪と
You
な。
call this a crime impossible for humans?
笑わせる。
Don't make me laugh.
その程度の隙だらけの穴だらけが人間には不可能な犯罪とな。
With all those holes and weak points, you call this a crime? Impossible for humans. Impossible for humans. You heard it here first.
わら
You
わ
heard
を
it,
簡単
heard
さ
it
せ
here
る素
first,
晴らし
folks.
き密室魔法はないのか？
Is there no splendid closed room magic that can do my name justice?
ああ、やれやれ、これもこれもそれもあれもバカらしい。
Not here, not here, or there either. All pathetic.
くすりとは笑えるが、これでは月と書物のどちらが魚かわからぬ
It's
と
enough to
いう
make
もの。
one giggle, but now I'm not sure which is the side dish, the moon or the book.
ミステリーに飽きれば蝶に姿を変えて
If I get tired of
島を
mystery, I can turn
屋敷を
myself into a butterfly. Very impressive.
広大な森を
I can flit about the island, the mansion, the vast forest at will.
自由気ままに散歩しようでは
I'll
ないか。
follow around those cowardly servants as they do their
臆病
nighttime
なる
rounds.
夜回りの使用人の後をつけて回り、
And when they check to see if a window is locked,
窓の戸締まりを確かめるとき、そのガラスに姿を映して肩越しに笑ってくれようぞ。
they'll see me laughing at them in their reflection on the glass.
何をするも自
I
由
can be
自
fickle.
在。
I can
気
do
ま
as I
夜の
please.
いたずらはなかなかに楽しそうだ。
Pranks at night should be a lot of
よ
fun.
し、決めたぞ。今宵からはそれで遊ぼうぞ。
I've decided. Let's play like that starting tonight.
それは愉快。
How amusing.
今宵も愉快だ。
What shall the amusement this night bring?
魔女の世界は想像力の限りのすべてを遊べる。
In the world of wishes, the only limits to your fun are the limits of your imagination.
わらわの想像力こそが我が魔力の源なのだ。
My imagination shall be the source of my magical
な
power.
らばよかろう、面白い。
Splendid, it'll be so
それを
fun.
無限大に
I'll
広げよ
expand
う
it
ぞ。
infinitely
そしてそれで島をすべて飲み込んでや
and
ろ
let
う
it
ぞ。
swallow the whole
島
island.
の夜はすべてわらわのものなり。
The island's night will be mine.
ああ、魔女の日々のなんと優雅で愉快なることか。
How refined and pleasant are the days of a witch.
ああ、我こそは我にして我
Yes,
らな
I
り。
am one yet many.
愉快なる魔女の世界に
Here's to the wonderful world of
乾
witches.
杯。
The Wonderful World of Witches, ladies and gentlemen.
第5章新しき元素
Chapter 5, A New Element.
お風呂場のアメニティは確認してくれましたか？
Did you check the bathroom amenities?
はい。リストに沿ってしっかりと。
We went down the whole list. Oh, Mammon's here and working hard.
置くときの向きもきちんとしてますか？
Did you check to make sure they were facing the right way when you set them down?
はい、もちろん。
Why, of course.
ちゃんとリストに従いました。
Everything's as the list says.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
源氏様、客室の準備も完了です。
Genji-sama, the guest rooms are ready now.
ご苦労。
Good work.
最後にシャノンの目でも直接すべて確認するように。
Make sure you check everything over with your own eyes,
そ
Shannon.
れから奥様が食堂のテーブルクロスをもう一度変えるようにと仰せ
Also,
だ。
Madams ordered us to change the tablecloth in the dining hall again.
あらあら、昼間に皆さんで苦労して変えたばかりだというのに、どうしてまた？
Oh, why my, why again? When we worked so hard to change it earlier today.
あのテーブルクロスではどうも色が違います。
Ah, the color of the tablecloth simply
よく
doesn't
よく
fit.
室内との調和を見てみたら、やはり合いませんでした。
Once I saw it against the backdrop of the room, I could see that it matched terribly.
やはり別のテーブルクロスにします。
We should use a different tablecloth.
ああ、それから客間のシャンデリアの清掃はちゃんと確認しているでしょうね。
Oh, and did you make sure to clean the chandelier in the
エ
parlor?
ヴァさんが見上げて、あれは埃？それともまさか雲の巣？
I don't want Ava-san looking up and
なん
saying,
て言い出すことが二度とあってはなりませんよ。
Oh, is that dust and even a spiderweb again?
ご安心を。
Oh, don't
すで
worry.
に入念に清掃と確認をしております。
It's already been carefully cleaned and
最
checked.
後に私もすべてを確認いたします。
I will now perform a final check on everything myself.
そうですか。結
Is
構
that。so? Very well.
私も最後に全てを確認します。
I will also check everything over at the very
シャ
end.
ノン、若い使用人たちを連れて新しいテーブルクロスを準備するように。
Shannon, take the young servants to prepare a new
もう
tablecloth.
少し清潔感を感じる白いものを探すのですよ。
Try to find something white with a bit more of a clean feeling.
はい、かしこまりました。
As you wish. Natsuhi was even more high-strung than normal and walked about barking orders here and there. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow is the annual family conference. It isn't particularly rare for each of the individual families to visit the island, but is the only time they all come together. It's the most important day of the year for both the Ashiromiya family and Rakanjima. Natsuhi was short-tempered on top of being high-strung. Oh, there we go. Someone who thinks Natsuhi is short-tempered. Kept ordering that the servants redo this or that since it really didn't look good after all. That sounds like a wonderful thing. Wonderful process. After all, this would keep them going into late into the night. Yeah, great. After all this, they're staying up late at night to fulfill her demands. Wonderful stuff. Now that Shannon had many years of experience and Natsuhi had put her in a position of responsibility, well, she was called over many times to have strict orders shown to her. So when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servant waiting room, she fell asleep almost immediately. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound outside a room would make. Or the sound wind outside a room would make, huh? It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep with the feel of wind in my hair. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound, it's a feeling. Then is this a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. My, my. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Not only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the newer servants. And even that is far from sufficient to pay you for all your hard work you've done.
もういい加減飽きはせぬか
Why do you not
そ
tire
の
of this
生
life?
活に
Huh? Who? She wasn't just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find it was real. She had a mental breakdown and hadn't even realized it, apparently. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped.
ここは
This place? Boy, she shouldn't say anymore. She couldn't say anymore. She was literally stunned to silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on a bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden on Rockinjima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden, and it wasn't just the flowers, but the dancing butterflies too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow Shannon was sitting in a chair under the arbor. It was as though she'd taken a nap there and woken up from a dream, but it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream? For some strange reason, it felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream, and I finally awakened here.
よう
Yep,
こ
that's
そ
right,
シ
they
ャ
just
ノン
awoke here. Welcome,
我が
Shannon.
黄金のバラ庭園へ
Welcome to my rose garden. Where's that voice again? Shannon looked around to find who it was. As she did, a golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form.
久しぶりであるなシャノン
It's been a while, Shannon.
元気であったか
Have you been well?
まあ元気であったろうな
Of course I know you have been.
わらわは毎日そなたたちを観察しているのだから
Girl, I've been watching all of you every day. This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden. She didn't remember this
そ
person
うだ
either.
ったな
Ah, indeed.
そなたはわらわをもはや覚えてはおらぬのだったな
You no longer remember me, do you? I take that as a no.
私はあなたを忘れているのですか
Forgotten about you?
だったらごめんなさい
If so, please forgive me.
謝るには及ばぬ
Oh, there's no need to apologize.
そのようにしたのだからそなたの罪ではない
I made you that way, so it's no sin of your own.
名乗ろ
Allow me to introduce
うわら
myself.
わは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ
I am the Golden Witch Beatrice.
ベアトリーチェ様
Beatrice sama?
親方様が口にされる後宮家の恩人の
Benefactor of the Ashirmiya family? Who the master always speaks of?
そのベアトリーチェではない
Not that
六
Beatrice.
軒島の夜を支配する黄金の魔女のベアトリーチェである
I'm the Golden Witch, the one who rules over Rockinshima's night.
そなたが日々敬意を忘れぬ館のもう一人の主であるぞ
The other master of the mansion. The one you always pay homage to.
あなたがベアトリーチェ
Beatrice
様
sama?
怯えずともよい
No need to fear.
わらわとそなたはもともとは同じ仲間いやいやルームメイトだったではないか
The two of us used to be friends, or no, roommates, did we not?
わらわはそなたに憧れ、日々使用人の仕事に励んでいたこともあったのだ。
At one time, I idolized you and tried to be the best servant I could.
私はずっと一人部屋で、ルームメイトは。
I've always had a single person room. I couldn't have had a...
別れの時、そなたの記憶を奪った。
When we last parted, I stole your memory.
しかし、わらわはそなたとルームメイト
However,
だっ
I've
た
not
ことを
forgotten
忘
we
れ
were
ぬ。
once roommates.
そして、そなたとの友情をわらわの方から一方的に破棄し、
I also remember I was the one who
立ち去っ
destroyed
た
our
ことも
friendship
忘
and
れは
left.
せぬ。だからこそ、一人残すそなたに悲しみ
So
を
as to
与え
not
るた
leave
め
you
に、
alone in
わらわ
sadness,
との
I
日々の
erased
記
our
憶も
memories
世界もすべて
all
を
your
消し去ったのだ。
and the very world of our days together.
分かろうとしないで
You
よい
need。not understand.
ただ、
But believe
これだ
this,
けわらわはそなたに危害を加えるためにここに呼んだ
I
の
have
では
not
ない。
called you here to do your harm.
ここは私の夢の中ではないのですか？
Inside of one of my dreams?
夢の中と思ってよい。
You may think of it that way.
厳密には眠ったそなたの魂を我が庭園に招いたの
Strictly
だ。
speaking, I beckoned your soul to my garden while you were
そ
sleeping
なたをこの世界の住人に招くために。
to invite you to be a resident of this world. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies rose up around the rose garden. As the cloud of butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups and a teapot more elegant even than those used by the Ishiromiya family. The tea was filled to the brim, and the sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had not smelled before, rose from the pot. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent, butterflies started gathering one by one on the table, and a tea stand sprouted right out of it. It was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. It was a many-layered tea stand filled with beautiful cakes like edible jewels. Of course, there were also several lovely, light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey with bits of gold leaf dancing through it.
後ろ宮家も時にティーパーティーを開くようだが、わらわのそれとは比べ物にもなるまい。
I mean, it seems the Ishiromiya family holds tea parties from time to time, but those can't compare to mine.
すごい。
Incredible.
こんなの見たことありません。
I've never seen anything like this.
見たことがあろうとも、それは給仕をする立場からであろうが。
I mean, even if you did, it would only have been as a
そ
waitress.
なたはわらわの
You're my
友
friend.
人、給仕の必要はないぞ。
I need no
何
waitress.
しろ、わらわは魔女。
After all, I'm a witch.
給仕は間に合っているので
And
な。
that is more than enough.
さ
Come,
あ、遠慮することはない。
don't be shy.
好きなだけ頬張るがよい。
Stuff yourself to your heart's content.
ありがとう
Thank you.
ございます。
Very much. Alright. That was all Shannon managed to say. It would be hard for anyone to say more after being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party.
まずは紅茶からどうか。
Let's begin with black tea. Black tea sounds good.
ミルクは新鮮。砂糖もそのままかじりたくなるほどの上物よ。
It's fresh. The sugar is so delectable you'd almost want to eat it raw. Don't you want to eat sugar raw anyway? It's delicious. You're just not supposed to because it's not super healthy.
まずは最初はストレートを勧めたい。
But I also recommend you try your tea straight first. Of course, tea is best straight,
バラの花びらをほんの一枚浮かべるだけで、
with nothing more than a single rose petal floating on the
もう
top.
二度と人の世の紅茶など飲めなくなってしまうに違いないぞ。
It'll surely be so delicious you'll be unable to drink the black tea of the human world ever again. Laughing happily, Beatrice opened not a sugar pot but a rose petal pot, picked up a single crimson petal and floated it on her tea after relishing its scent. Shannon did the same, picking up a single petal and smelling its aroma. Are these rose petals, or are these golden rose petals? I'm trying to visualize this. Is the rose petal pot yellow, or is it red, or pink, perhaps? It smells wonderful.
なんて素敵な香り。これは本当にこの世のバラの香りなの？
Is this really the scent of roses in this world?
喜んでもらえて嬉しい。
Glad you enjoy
わ
it.
らわが紅茶に浮かべるためだけに品種改良を重ねたバラだ。
Why, I bred this rose simply for the purpose of using the petals with black
す
tea.
りつぶしてジャムにしてもこれがまた絶品でな。
If you crush them, they're also splendid for making
ス
jam.
コーンにもこの上なくよく合う。
It goes better with scones than anything else
試し
imaginable.
てみるか
Do you want to try?
あ
Sure, just a bit.
じゃあ少しだけ。
Shannon had been invited to this witch tea party suddenly. However, the witch seemed so truly innocent in her smile. As she played the hostess was so happy it made Shannon want to smile too. The tension in Shannon's heart gradually faded, and she started to enjoy her chat with this witch.
使用人の仕事も大変であろうな。
Servant work really is
わ
tiring.
らわもよく覚えているぞ。
I remember it
礼
well.
拝堂の窓枠の掃除がとにかく面倒であった。
Particularly cleaning the windowsills in the chapel.
驚きました。あ
Surprising.
なたも使用人として働いていたことがあるので
You
す
worked as
か？
a servant once too?
短い間だ。
Why, for a short time.
覚えておらぬだろうが、そなたと共に働いていたのだぞ。
You probably won't remember, but I worked alongside you.
わらわはドジで物をよくなくす愚か者。
I was a clumsy fool who always lost things.
そなたはわらわの憧れる理想の使用人であった。
You were my idea of the perfect servant, the person I looked up to.
なのに私が覚えていなくて
It makes me even more
本
sorry
当
I
に
can't
ごめん
remember.
なさい。
それを詫びる
Ah,
必要は
there's
な
no
い。
need for apologies.
ここではそなたは使用人ではなく、わらわの友人であり客人
Here,
だ。
you're not a servant, but my friend and a guest.
ここでは何の不自由もない。何の苦労も退屈もない。
There are no inconveniences here, nor no trials, nor boredom.
そなたが望むすべてのものを与えること
I
が
can
で
give
き
you
るのだ。
anything you desire.
今やわらわにはそれだけの力がある。
That is how much power I currently
それ
possess.
に至ったことをそなたには知らせたかったのだ。
I wanted to let you know that I've now reached that level.
何の取り柄もない私を
I'm
こん
truly
なに素
grateful to
敵なお
you.
もてなしで歓待してくださって本当にありがとうございます。
For welcoming one with so few redeeming features in such an extravagant way.
辛き日々を今日まで耐え忍んだそなたへの褒美であると。
I think of it
そ
as
う
a
思えば
reward
よい。
for all the painful days you withstood.
さあ、黄金の蝶たちよ。
Gold butterflies.
わらわの友人を退屈させるでないぞ。軽やかな舞を見せるがいい。
Don't let my friend get bored. Show her a little dance.
それに飽きたなら楽団を呼び出し、そなたの好きな曲を何でも演奏させ
And when
よ
you're
う。
tired of that, allow me to call the band to perform any song you'd
そ
like.
れにも飽きたなら勝者なる使い魔たちに種なし手品を披露させてやろうぞ。
When you've tired of that, my refined familiars will show you some conjuring tricks.
安心せよ。ここでの時間は無限。
For you see, time is endless here.
そしてそなたの願いもまたわらわが無限に
And
叶
I,
え
well,
る。
I can grant your wishes
わ
endlessly.
らわの茶会に終わりはないのだ。
My tea party has no end. In a truly good mood, the witch told Shannon several strange stories. They were all stories Shannon had never heard before. Very interesting stories. And yet, they were all odd, bizarre fairy tales. Shannon felt as though she'd become Alice in Wonderland. The time she spent at this tea party was strange, pleasant, and relaxed. No, the clocks have no hands at this tea party, so the time passed like a Sunday morning when you can wrap yourself in your blanket for as long as you want.
本当にこんな素敵な時間を与えてくださり感謝します。
I can't express how grateful I am to you for this.
礼はいらぬ。
Why, there's no need for thanks.
なぜなら人の世で礼は別れの言葉を兼ねるのであろう。
In the human world, words of thanks go along with words of farewell, do they
こ
not?
の茶会に終わりはない。
There's no end to this tea party,
だから礼も必要がない。
so there is no need for thanks either. She's right though, right? You say thanks. Thanks for having me as a guest, but I've gotta go, and you head out. So she's saying, no saying thank you, because that would imply you'd ever have to leave.
でも感謝します。
I'll still thank you.
ベアトリーチェ様、こんな素敵なお茶会を本当にありがとうございます。
Thank you so much, Beatrice-sama, for this wonderful tea party.
でも終わらない夢はないように、この夢も終わらないといけません。
But all dreams must end, and so must this one.
ほう、
Oh?
なぜに終わらねばならぬのか。
And why must they end?
その明日も早いので、
Well, because I start early tomorrow.
いつまでもここでおしゃべりをしていたら、私はお寝坊をして、
If I stay here talking too long, I'll sleep in.
奥様に大目玉をもらってしまい
Madam
ま
will
す。
give me a good scolding.
なぜにわざわざ短気な夏日のいる世界へ帰りたがるというのか。
Why are you so anxious to return to the world of that short-tempered
い
Natsuhi?
やいや、
Really now?
労を多くして何のねぎらいもない人間の世界へ、なぜにわざわざ帰ろうというのか。
He's truly saying you want to return to the human world where it's all work and no reward?
私人間ですし、
But I am human. No, you're furniture, aren't you?
いつまでもここでお世話にはなれません。
I can't impose myself on you forever.
シャノン、
Shannon,
そなたは勘違いをしてい
seems
る
you
よう
don't
だ。
understand.
わらわはそなたを招いたが、追い返すような真似はしない。
I invited you here, but I have no desire to chase you away again.
ここでの時間は永遠だ。
Here, time is
そなた
eternal.
が別れを切り出さねばならぬ義理などない。
You're not obligated to say farewell, not
わら
ever.
わはそなたとどれだけ茶会を共にしようとも飽
I'll
きる
never
ぞ。
tire of enjoying tea
む
with
し
you.
ろ
On the contrary,
そなたという話し相手が実に心地よい。
agreeable to have you here to talk to.
お言葉は嬉しいですけど、私は人間。
I'm grateful for your words, but I'm human.
自分の世界に帰らなくちゃいけま
I
せん。
must return to my own world.
家事にこき使われ、日々を学校と仕事だけに費やす
Why do you wish
何
to
の彩り
return
もない世界に
to that colorless
なぜ
world
わざわざ帰るというのか。
where you waste all your time with school and your job and the family works you to the bone?
それでもそこが私の世界ですし、
Well, despite all that, it's still my world.
シャノン、
Shannon,
そのような世界がそなたの世界である必要があるというのか。
does that sort of world really need to be yours?
率直に言おう。
Let me be honest with you.
シャノン、
Yeah.
わらわはそなたを招いたのではない。
I didn't just invite
迎え
you
に
here.
来たのだ。
I came to take you home.
迎え
Take me home?
かつてそなたのような良き使用人を目指し、
Once I tried to become a good servant like you.
そして魔女の世界に憧れ、
Then I became fascinated by witches.
使用人から魔女となったわらわは、もは
I
や
became
魔法
one
の逸
myself,
楽を知り尽くす境地
Every
に至った。
pleasure of magic, and
だからそなたを迎えに来たのだ。
I've come to take you home. Beatrice spoke quietly and slowly rose from her seat.
シャノン、
Jen,
やはり使用人よりも魔女の世界の方がずっと楽しいぞ。
the world of witches truly is more fun than being a servant.
この茶会など旧友とのほんの挨拶代わりでしかない。
This tea party is nothing more than a mere welcoming party for an old friend.
わらわとそなたが望めば望んだ数だけ、
You
いく
can
ら
hold
で
as
も
many
楽しき
fun
催しは繰り
festivities as
広
we
げられる。
desire.
それこそ無限に
It's the endless, the
永遠
eternal.
にこの黄金のバラ庭園を完成させた今、
And
わ
now
ら
that
わ
this
は至ったの
golden
だ。
rose garden has been completed, I've reached my
ここ
goal.
こそが理想郷。
This place is a
そう
paradise.
ここを
Let's call it
黄金の理想郷と名
the
付けよう。
golden paradise.
その完成に至ったからこそそなたを迎えに来たのだ。
Now that it's been completed, I've come to welcome you in.
もう何の不自由も忍耐も努力も必要ない。
There's no need for any inconveniences, any perseverance or hard work.
ここでそなたとわらわは永遠に
Here,
いつまで
you
も
and I
楽しく過ご
can
す
enjoy
のだ。
ourselves for all eternity.
まるで終わりのないおとぎ
Like
話
a
のように
never-ending
な。
fairy tale.
素敵な申し出を本当にありがとうございます。
Well, I'm truly grateful for your splendid
で
proposal.
も私は元の世界へ帰らなくてはなりません。
But I need to get back to my original world.
なぜに
Why? Do you not understand timey-wimey shenanigans? Do you not understand that time is paused? It's like when the doctor whisks you away. It's like he'll just tell you. It's like, yeah, we'll be on a journey, and I'll leave you 5 minutes after you. I'll drop you off 5 minutes after you left. We can spend as long as we want here. Assuming you're not like dead or something. You know. Shannon, don't you get it? I understand that it's Shannon's imagination, and so she's aware it's not real subconsciously, but if actually proposed this by a witch, you should probably understand that. In fact, as I recall, that's exactly how several of the Doctor's companions have their journeys. They leave, and they return shortly after they left. A very short period of time. I'm just thinking, well, it wasn't that Amy and Rory, I think one of the stints of their journey. The Doctor just shows up right before they get married and is like, hey, let's go on some adventures. I'll leave you, I'll drop you back off, like, in the morning. Let's go have, like, 500 adventures. An entire season's worth. Why not?
ここは私の世界ではあり
As
ま
this
せん
isn't
の
my
で
world.
それは認める。
I can acknowledge
これ
it.
まではそなたの世界ではなかった。
It's not the world you've lived in until now.
だからわらわが招くのだ。
But that's why I invited you here.
これより、ここはわらわとそなたの世界と
From
なる。
this point forth, it'll be our
そ
world.
なたはもう客人ではない。
You're no longer a guest.
この世界のもう一人の主となるのだ。わらわにも何の
You're
遠
the
慮も
second
無
master of
用。
this world. You need show no restraint for my sake.
この無限の世界で、かつてルームメイトだった時のように過ごすだけの話。
We can live in this endless world like we once lived as roommates.
その記憶がないことが私はとても残念です。
I regret to say, I have no memory of that time.
でもそのお招きはお断りしたいと思います。
I'll have to turn down your invitation.
なぜに
Why?
そなたに人間の世界に戻らねばならぬ。
What responsibility forces you to
どんな
return to
義
the
理
world
が
of
あるとい
humans?
うのか。
True, the world of humans or the world of servants is busy all the time. Madam is strict, high-strung, and has a short temper. It'd be a lie if I said every day chores weren't a pain and having to balance work with school makes it even harder. Beatrice had watched over Shannon's painful days the whole time. She'd seen those constantly tired shoulders heave in a sigh over and over. That's why she invited Shannon here, to this golden paradise. She had tried to give Shannon a perfect welcome to truly make her happy. So why had Shannon selected her original world over this one? Beatrice was overcome with shock and completely unable to understand.
この理想郷にて、わらわはそなたに対し最高のもてなしをした。
I've given you the perfect welcome to this
そ
paradise.
してそれはこれからもそれ以上の楽しい日々が
The
続
days to
く。
follow will be even more fun.
なのに、それでも人間の世界を選ぶそなたには、人間の世界にて魔女の閲楽以上の楽しさがあるというのか。
So since you choose the human world over all that, do you find something there that's even more fun than the pleasures of witches? That's right.
はい。
Oh.
人間の世界にだって魔法に負けないくらい楽しいことがあります。
There are things in the human world that are even more fun than magic. Well, that's a bold statement. Okay.
バカな。
Absurd. That can't be. I actually agree with Beatrice on this one. What could be better?
いいえ、
Yes.
あります。
It's true? Shannon's expression was soft. But what is it? However, her words were firm. There was something wonderfully fascinating in the human world. And that something was apparently not in this paradise where everything was supposedly just as they wanted it. Is that George?
バカな。
Absurd.
わからぬ。
I don't
わからぬ。
understand. As Beatrice muttered, she shifted restlessly several times. Yeah, I'd be confused too. Understandable. However, no matter how often she said it, Shannon's smile didn't falter and Beatrice couldn't think of an answer. You sit there and you're just like, the hell is she thinking?
では私はこれで
In that case,
失礼
it's
しま
time
す。
for me to leave.
お茶本当に美味しかったです。
Tea was delicious. And she's gone.
わからぬ。わからぬ。
I don't understand.
わらわは全てを無限に手に入れられる偉大なる黄金の魔女。
I'm the Golden Witch, the one who can have everything endlessly.
そのわらわにそなたは手に入れられぬものがあると。
And you tell me I
So
cannot
was no
give you what you want?
はい。
Yes.
知りたい。
I need to know. I want to know.
全てを手に入れたと信じるわらわが未だ手に入れておらぬものとは何なのか。
I believed I had everything, so tell me what it is I lack. What is it she lacks?
あなたはもうそれをご存知と思います。
You already know.
だから私をここへ招いてくれたの
Isn't
で
that
はな
why
いで
you
すか。
invited me here?
魔女を煙に巻くとい
You
うのか。
trying to speak riddles to a witch?
ではこれで
That's all for now then.
ここに住むことはできませんが、
I can't
お
live
茶
here,
会にお誘いくださった時には必ずお伺いしようと思います。
but I would be glad to come over whenever you invite me out for tea. Seems good.
もう呼ばぬわ。
I won't call for you again.
安心するがよい。
I have no fear of that. Beatrice snapped her fingers and Shannon popped out of existence. Shannon's soul had returned to the dream of her original self. While humans have many dreams in a night, they can remember none of them. The tea party of this paradise, mixed with many other dreams, had vanished. The next morning, Shannon would not remember this tea party. However, Shannon's cup remained here. The witch who had lost her guest was standing alone, looked all the more lonely. The witch dug her fingernails into the tablecloth. The grimace as she bit her lower lip made it clear she still hadn't solved the puzzle Shannon had left behind.
リーチェ、
Beatrice?
気にすることないわよ。
There's no need to worry about it. A black hole opened above Shannon's empty seat and the owner of the voice fell out of it.
気にもする。
Do
ああも
worry.
ガツンと言われてはな。
How could she say it with such certainty? She's a witch of her own, obviously.
夜明けも近いから早く睡眠に戻りたいだけだったんじゃない？
Maybe she just wanted to get back to sleep quickly since dawn's coming soon.
わらわが知らず、そしてシャノンが知る閲楽とは何か。
What pleasure could Shannon know that I do not?
わらわの理想郷になくて、人間の世界にのみある何かとは何か。
Is this something that can be found in the human world but not in my paradise?
わからぬ。
I don't understand.
知りたい。
I want to know.
難しいこと考えたって頭痛の種に水をやるだけだわ。
Thinking about complicated stuff will just fuel your headache.
シャノンの代わりなら
I can be of service in
私
Shannon's
が
place.
務めてあげる。
Thanks, Gop. Or wait, you're still Beatrice. Unknown. You're unknown still, right? She's not Gop yet.
私たちで楽しくお茶会を過ごしましょうよ。
Let's enjoy a tea party together. Sounds good to me.
もう茶会の気分ではない。
I don't feel like it anymore. She did kind of ruin the atmosphere, that's true.
そなたとの茶会は
I'm bored of having
Oh,
tea
actually-
parties with you.
あらあら、釣れないわ。
Oh, she's cranky. My. The witch shrugged and laughed and took a bite out of a scone. Then she blew into it and it swelled up like a balloon before finally popping. Golden ribbons and butterflies flew out, but Beatrice didn't appear to notice.
一体
Just what is it that I don't possess?
何をわらわは持たぬというのか。何を。
What? What is it? I suppose the fair thing to say here is without love it cannot be seen. Oh, wait. Seems very familiar for some reason. Hmm.
どうぞお足元にお気をつけになって。
Watch your step there.
ありがとう船長さん。
I thank you, Captain. Captain.
お体本当に大事になさってね。
Make sure you take good care of yourself.
わしの友人にな、肩こりによく効くっちゅうのを商ってるのがおるんや。
I got this friend who sells stuff that's supposed to be great for stiff
次の
shoulders.
時試供品もらってくるで。
I'll bring you a sample next time.
いえいえ、お気遣いをありがとうございます。
Oh, no need to trouble yourself, but thanks for caring.
ほらガキども、
Hey, brats.
いつまではしゃぎ回ってやがる。
How long are you gonna mess around up there?
とっとと降りろい。
Let's go, let's go.
ほらマリア、
Hey, Maria.
ママと一緒にお船を降りましょうね。
Tom off the boat with Mama. Maria, who Rosa led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, who she rarely ever saw, were playing all around her. And she was very excited. Battler and George had the energy of middle school or nearly middle school kids. These two, along with Jessica, had met them on Nijima, were clampering about on the boat. Okay.
アスム、大丈夫
You
か。
okay, Asumu? Or is Asumu gonna get a Sprite? Are we gonna get to see Asumu's face?
お前は本当に乗り物がダメだな。
You really don't like riding things, do you? Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asumu. He
よう
doesn't
こ
have
そ
a Sprite.
剣島へ。
Welcome to Rockinjima.
長旅を大変お疲れ様でございました。
Thank you for making such a long journey. The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph's wife was still Asumu, and NJ hadn't been born. Goda and Kanon hadn't yet been employed by the Yoshiromiya family. And the witch's epitaph, which would toy with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime they'd encounter several years later.
旦那様、奥様、
Crow-sama, madam.
親族の方々がご到着なさいました。
The family has arrived.
では、
Good, good.
私は親父殿に声をかけてくるとしよう。
Should I call her father?
お願いします。
Please do.
私は皆様方をお迎えします。
I'll go welcome everyone.
あ、シャノン。
Shannon,
この窓枠を掃除したのは誰ですか？
who cleaned this window frame?
まだ埃があるではありませんか。
It still has dust on it.
大急ぎで拭きなさい。
Quickly, wipe it off.
かしこまりました、奥
I
様。
see, ma'am. Oh, come on. Natsuhi's making her work so hard again. What good does she find in such a limited, ulcer-inducing life? That's Natsuhi for you. I wanted to know. He takes joy in being middle management. What can you say? Shannon. What is it you found? And what did you mean when you said I already knew what I was missing? Shannon. Is this something I must learn by learning about you?
親族会議の日の六軒島は普段
What's
と
different
何
about
が
the day
違
of
う
the
のだ
family
ろう。
conference on Rockinjima?
それは絶対賑やかさ。
Gotta be the noise.
これだけの子供が集まることはないものね。
There's never this many kids around.
大人たちにとっては緊張感を強いられる日だったろうけれど、
May have been a tension-filled day for the adults.
僕たち子供にとっては仲良しのいとこたちと一
But
度
to
に
us
会え
kids,
る
it was a wonderful
素敵な
day.
日だったね。
The only time we got to see all the cousins we loved.
夏はいとこたちで海ではしゃいだし、冬は冬でいろいろゲームをして遊んだっけ。
In the summer, we'd play with our cousins on the beach, and even in the winter, there were plenty of games we could
俺
play.
たちにとっては 親族会議ってのは楽しいもんだったぜ。
The family conferences were tons of fun for us.
それは私もだぜ。
Same here.
母さんなんかは粗相があってはダメとかうるさかったけど、
Mama was always going on and on about how there must be no mistakes.
私にとってもいとこみんなで遊べる楽しい日だった。
But to me, it was just the day I got to play with all my cousins. Well, doesn't that sound lovely?
何しろ普段の六軒島には何もねえんだから。
After all, there's usually nothing at all to do on Rockinjima.
すげえお屋敷に住んでたり、プライベートビーチがあったり。
Back when I was still a little
ガキの
brat,
頃は羨ましいと思ってたけど。
I was always jealous of Jessica getting to live in this huge mansion with a private beach.
ジェシカの身になって考えると、さぞ
But now,
窮屈だったと
when
思
I
うぜ。
tried putting myself in her shoes, it must have been a pretty constricting place to live.
だろうね。
Probably.
六軒島には本当に何もない。
There's hardly anything on Rockinjima.
友達の家もお隣も
No
ご近所
friends'
もない。
houses, no next door neighbors, no neighborhood.
ジェシカちゃんの気持ちを考えると少し気の毒に思うよ。
If you think of how Jessica must have felt, you'd have to be a little sad for her.
だから私にとっては親族会議の日は本当に特別な日。
Why the family conference was so special to me.
はしゃいでふざけて、
Jumping around, messing around.
まるでお祭りの日みたいな気持ちだった。
It felt like I was at a festival.
徹底的に悪ふざけの限りを尽くしたぜ。
We played tricks on each other all the time.
大人たちは小難しい話ばかりで、あっちで遊んでなさいってことにな
Always
ったか
talking
ら。
about adult things and told you to go play somewhere else.
年の近いいとこたちが
And
3
then
人。
you were 3 cousins at about the same age. Plus Maria, poor Maria.
はしゃぎ回らないわけがない。
Of course you'd horse around.
いいや、3人じゃない。
Alright.
4人だったよ。
The 4 of us.
エンジェは生まれてないし、マリアはまだ一緒に遊べるような年じゃないわ。
But NJ wasn't born yet and Maria is still too young to play with you.
違うよ、フルフル。
You got it wrong, Fufu.
年が近いのはいとこだけじゃないよ。
The cousins weren't the only ones at the same age. That's right, Zapar. Shannon's the same age as most of the cousins.
シャノンちゃんだよ。
Shannon Chan was the 4th.
彼女も俺らと同じくらいの年だったからな。
About the same age as the rest of us.
母さんが使用人のことは話すなとうるさかったけれど、
Mom was always going on about not talking with the servant
私
kids.
とシャノンは少しずつ交流を深めていったよ。
But Shannon and I started getting close.
六軒島で最も年が近い唯一の女の子だったんだから。
After all, she was the girl closest to me in age on Rockinjima. That's fair.
僕たちとシャノンの4人は仲良しだったんだ。
All 4 of us played together.
親族会議の時はいつも楽しく遊んでいたよ。
We played at every family conference.
シャノン。
Right, Shannon?
はい。
Right.
奥様に知られればお叱りを受けることと分かってはおりましたが。
I knew Madam would scold me if she found out, but
叱らせなんかしねえぜ。
I wouldn't have let her.
シャノンはずっと私の気持ちを唯一理解してくれる親友だったぜ。
You're always the one close
あ
friend
り
who
が
could
とうござい
understand me.
ます。お嬢様。
Thank you for your kind words, milady. I simply couldn't hide my shock. How had she formed a relationship with the children of the family despite only being a servant? Natsuhi had probably been very careful to prevent such a relationship. Natsuhi is classist. However, it's no surprise that Jessica, all alone on the island, would have wanted to be friends with a kid her age. And Shannon, well, she was also alone on the island without any friends her age. Though they both understood their relationship as master and servant, they somehow managed to strike up a friendship. Then, at the family conference, Jessica had introduced Shannon to George and Battler. And all the adults had their hands full with the complicated discussion in the mansion. During that time, Shannon was able to set aside her role as servant for just a little bit. Acting her age with Jessica, George, and Battler. I didn't even know that Shannon had constructed this new world so quickly. As a butterfly hiding in the shadows, I observed this new world of Shannon's.
We ran
all around the rose garden and the beach.
ただ駆け回ってふざけ合うだけが最高に楽しかったな。
Just running around and playing was a blast.
だな。
Yep.
この時ばかりはシャノンちゃんも年相応の笑顔を見せてくれたぜ。
Those were the only times Shannon Chan smiled like a girl her age.
ちょっとはしゃぎすぎてたかもです。
I might have gotten a bit carried away.
お恥ずかしい。
It's embarrassing.
今でこそバトラも立派な身長だけど、当時は私やシャノンの方が背が高いし、力も強かったっけ。
Battler's insanely huge now, but back then Shannon and I were both taller and stronger than him.
当時の俺は成長がちょいと遅かったからな。
I just grew slowly back then.
成長が遅い方の方が背は伸びると聞いたことがあります。
They say those who start light end up the tallest. It seems like that's the case.
そうだろうな。
Totally.
シャノンちゃんの胸もあの頃は全然こんなじゃなかったもんな。
Back then your chest was nothing like this, of course.
そんなことはないよ。
That's not true.
シャノンだってあの頃からもう女性の魅
Shannon
力
had
を持ち始めて
plenty
た
of
よ。
womanly charm back then, right? Right?
どうでしょう。
Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
女性の魅力ってなんだよ。やらしい。
What do you mean, womanly charm, you pervert?
いやあの頃はまだ俺も可愛かったな。
I was still pretty cute back then myself.
夏服の肩からちらりと見える紐に青い春の稲妻を感じたもんだぜ。
The frost wrap you could see through the shoulder of her summer clothing set off the lightning of youth.
ジョージの兄貴と一緒にシャノンちゃんの胸はいくつくらいか夜にこそこそと話し合ったのが懐かしいぜ。
I remember whispering with George Anarchy that night about how big her tits might be.
そうなんですか、ジョージ様。
Is this true, George Simon? He's not saying no. He's not saying no.
おそらくは大いに誤解のある話だと思うよ。
I believe there's been some sort of misunderstanding. Yeah, uh-huh.
僕は男女の成長の違いについて人生の先輩として講義をした記憶はあっても
I simply remember lecturing him as the older and more knowledgeable cousin about the differences between how boys and girls grow. Ah, yes,
男同
yes,
士で
sure.
の夜のワイダンはむしろ健全な発育の証であってその
Rather than dirty talk between cousins late at night, it was instead a sign of healthy growth and, okay, keep trying. Sure.
いやー、みんなでいとこ部屋で深夜になるまでそういう話をしてたっけな。
I remember us cousins talking about stuff like that until midnight.
隣のクラスの誰々がキスをしたらしいとか。
Like about how apparently someone in the next class had kissed someone else. Damn, that's not even related to you. Why do you even give a shit?
サマーキャンプで素敵だなと思ってたこと手をつな
Or
げちゃった。
how you held hands with a girl you liked at summer camp. Ooh, spicy. Spicy, look at that. Holding hands. Ooh. Next level shit, man.
誰々は自分に気がありそうでとかなんとか。
About how so-and-so who you thought probably liked you, stuff like that.
なんか恥ずかしくて全身が痒くなってきたぜ。
So embarrassing, it makes me shiver. Right then.
いいじゃないか。
Isn't that nice?
それもまた青春の甘酸っぱい1ページ。
Another sweet page in the book of adolescence.
男女を意識し合うところから一番最初のピュアな恋が生まれるの。
Most pure love comes when boys and girls first start noticing each other. Does it now?
ただ男女で一緒にいたいだけとい
Well,
う
alright then.
とてもシンプルでピュアで
The simple, pure desire to just be around someone of the opposite sex. Alright.
それでいて高潔な最初の恋
The noble first loves. Alright then. That's how you want to describe it? Go for it. I'm not gonna stop you.
素敵だわ。
It's just wonderful.
年頃の少年少女たちが愛の世界を思い浮かべながら語り合う。
Bunch of kids just thinking and talking about the world of love. Sounds great, Furfur. Furfur.
そんなことも。
That sort of thing. You don't seem very comfortable, do you, Shannon?
ありましたでしょうか。
Really happened? Why, we're left to assume it did. After all, why would these wonderful people lie?
何をとぼけてるんだか。
Don't play dumb. Battler's on to you now.
耳まで真っ赤になりながらもシャノンちゃんが一番興味津々って感じだったじゃねえかよ。
You were the most absorbed and curious of all of us sitting there till even your ears turned red.
興味津々なんてことはありませんでした。
I was not curious. Alright, the milady says she wasn't curious. Uh-huh. You getting poked? Or are you getting poked or pinched here? For that obvious lie. I was just... Uh-huh, uh-huh.
皆さん、よくいろいろなことをご存知だな。
So that's how we're describing it today. Alright.
と、
It's how much everyone knew.
そ
I
の
guess and Shannon also skipped high school, right? Alright, no, they're in middle school. She didn't necessarily skip this stuff. Alright.
うん。
That's right.
シャノンが一番かまととぶってて、そのくせ興味津々だって一番むっつりスケベだった。
Shannon always played dumb the most. Even though she was the most interested, she was the biggest pervert there.
そんなことありません。
That's not true.
そんなことありません。
It's not true. The way you deny it making me think that's probably true. Sorry.
お嬢様嫌いです。
I hate you, milady. Right, right, okay. No one's buying that one. George is laughing. Clearly he's not buying it either.
そういつもこんな感じ
Yes. It was always like this.
昼は子供らしくはしゃぎ合い夜は枕を寄せて秘密の話に花を咲かせた
In the day we'd run around like kids, and at night we'd hug our pillows and talk about secret stuff.
それら全部をひっくるめてどれも懐かしいね
Looking back on all of it now, it really brings back some fond memories.
エッチな話をひそひそして親の足音が近づいてきたらガバッと布団に潜って寝たふりしたりとかあったな
We'd always be whispering about something dirty, and whenever we heard the footsteps of the adults coming by, we'd jump under the covers and pretend to be sleeping.
あったあった
I remember that.
修学旅行かっつーの
Just like a school field trip.
あの、全員同時にガバッと隠れる感じ。
Those times we all dove under the covers at once.
暗黙のルールみたいな感じというか、
Felt like
妙な連帯
an
感という
unspoken
か、
rule, like a strange sense of unity.
あの感じがすごい好きでした。
Really liked that feeling.
まとにかく
Well, anyway,
そういう話だけじゃなかったよ
that's not all we talked about. Oh, that's what it sounds like.
他にもいろいろあった。
It was a lot more than that.
僕たちはまさに青春を謳歌し合っていたよ。
We really did enjoy our youth to the fullest.
これは何だというのか。
And what's this? Shannon, is this that fun thing of the human world? This incomprehensible messing around that you found?
子供同士が群れてバカバカしい遊びに熱中し、くだらぬ話題で盛り上がる。
A bunch of kids gathered together, playing stupid games and talking about trivial matters?
これがそなたの見つけた魔女の閲楽にも勝る人間の閲楽だというのか。
This the human pleasure you found that surpasses the pleasures of witches? I mean, it might be.
はい。
Yes.
あなたにはこれが楽しくは見えませんか？
Doesn't it look fun to you? I mean, it doesn't seem terrible.
退屈とは言わぬ。
I won't call it boring.
だが、この低俗なはしゃぎ合いが全ての望みを叶えられるわらわの理想郷よりも勝るとは
I don't see how such a vulgar game can compare to my paradise,
消せぬ。
where all wishes can be granted. Like, doesn't make sense.
人と触れ合うことはとても楽しいことなんです。
Interacting with people is a lot of fun.
もちろんあなたの世界も楽しいものだと思います。
Of course, I also think your world is fun.
それでも私はこちらを選びます。
But even so, I choose this world. Alright, she's made her choice.
わからぬ。
I don't understand.
わからぬ。
I don't understand at all. Well, you don't have to understand. You just have to accept it. Beatrice held her head as though she was having a headache. But no matter how much she grimaced, she couldn't think of an answer. Feels very much like Battler, right? Suffering through that annoying-ass headache when Beatrice tells him something he doesn't want to know. He has to sit there and grimace a whole bunch.
教えよ。
Tell me.
そなたはこのような低俗なはしゃぎ合いの中に何を見つけたというのか。
Correct. This is an internal debate over whether to submerge yourself into a fantasy world or actually interact with people. And what is it we found with this vulgar playing? I don't know. We'll probably I wonder what justification she'll use. If we divorce ourselves from this obviously long and drawn out scenario. Like I'm sorry, it seems excessively drawn out to tell us what's going on. But if we divorce ourselves from the anticipation of the next scene at the conclusion of our story, and just consider this a philosophical debate over whether it's better to submerge yourself into a perfect fantasy world, or what you perceive as a perfect fantasy world, and actually interact with people in real life, then let's just sit here and enjoy it. I don't think it's made an argument yet. It's just said that this person perceives it, which is still very slow for philosophical dialogue. Sorry, I've actually read some of those, and it's still slow for this, or it's still slow for that. But perhaps it's just the framing that's taking a really long time to catch up. It might be interesting. In fact, I think that would be interesting to have a visual novel that is basically a visual novel that is less visual novel and more philosophical dialogue that happens to use a visual novel as a framework. It'd be interesting to see if they actually do that, but it seems a lot of visual novels are more the novel part than the dialogue, the philosophical dialogue part, even though they might divulge in something like that. Yeah, exactly. It's not actually making an argument. It's just showing how she grew up in her mindset. But if we were to instead consider this a philosophical dialogue, that would be an interesting question. and would actually be something I'd be interested in reading. Like, I think I've said before, I think the author of this story needs an editor. But you know what? Something he can do with his really long rants is he can actually sit down and write. If he was to take this scene and instead of just giving us her mindset and giving, like, literally just giving this to someone's life story over the course of like 10 hours, and you're just like, I'm not sure. When we're just like, I'm not sure how much I care about this, and it's taking forever. It would actually be interesting to have them sit down and have a really long dialogue, because he's got the space, clearly. Instead, spend most of that time discussing whether or not it's better to live in a fantasy or something. That could be cool. If that would be a discussion, you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm probably I already have an opinion, but it'd be fun to play around with that idea and talk about it for a little bit before coming to a conclusion. It'd be something worth doing in your ridiculously long run time. It's like, you got time for this, you can surely do that instead of something else. That said, since this guy doesn't have an editor, I'm a little bit worried if I were to submit a recommendation for him to include philosophical dialogues in his narratives, that he'd probably just add them. So you'd have, instead of replacing one scene with another or tweaking it so that it actually makes sense as a dialogue, it would instead just be a new scene in the middle of this dialogue, and that would be way too long. I'm a little bit concerned about that, but I think it would be cool if someone did do that, where they took the classic dialogues model. So, who is it? Who is it that actually has that has dialogues? Is that like Locke? I don't remember. There's actually a few philosophers that will just straight up have like two people in a garden. There'll be like two people in a fucking garden or some shit just sitting there arguing, and they'll just sit there, and basically the second person's going to be like this, effectively be like the writer's best straw man for the opposition, while the author is obviously like writing his self-insert, and they'll just discuss, whatever philosophical topic they want to discuss. Honestly, an interesting read to read philosophy like that. Like, you can read someone's stream of consciousness or just their own opinion on stuff, or you can read like stuff in the structure of a dialogue, and it's kind of interesting to change things up like that. I think it'll be really cool to have that with in a few more visual novels, because I feel like you have space for that here, and some people like to kind of like attach a theme or like actually do just wax eloquently for like 30 minutes on their own theme. So why not do that and just have like a dedicated philosophical novel? Surprised there isn't one yet like that already. I feel like it could be good. Or maybe I'm just biased because that's something I'm interested in. You want to know? I've already said it. Without love, it can't be seen. I do. Love. Love? Here. It's the Queen book I promised. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to borrow it. It's okay. You can keep it, Shannon-chan. I've already read it. True, I don't go back and read many books myself. I don't go back and read books I've already read myself very often. What's wrong with that? That's not very complicated. I can't accept that. It's probably expensive. It's a book. Most books aren't super expensive, honestly. It's just something I got for a few hundred yen at a bazaar. Even he's aware that it's not crazy expensive. Don't worry about it. I'd rather if you read it quickly so we can talk about it. It's fun to talk about this sort of stuff with you, Shannon-chan. It's fun for me too. So much more fun to read mystery novels with two people instead of alone.
議論したり妄想したりするのが楽しいよな。
Oh, I like talking about it and imagining all kinds of things.
ミステリーは読んで半分を楽しみ。
With mystery novels, reading's only half the fun.
読んだ人間同士で語り合って初めて全てを楽し
My
める
theory
っての
is
が
you can only
俺の
really
知
enjoy
恵
it
だ
when
ぜ。
you talk with other people who've read it too. Our relationship began when we realized that we both read mystery novels. We were both surprised and very interested to find the other person not only read tons of mystery novels, but read them very thoroughly. Ever since then, it's been like this. Separate from the games we played with all the cousins, the two of us met together for some time alone. At first, it was sort of like a contest to see who knew more than the other. However, eventually it turned into respect for how much the other had read and how deeply they were able to think about it. Respect. Trust. Those emotions made our friendship even stronger, and of course, all of that had fallen within the category of friendship. But we were still slightly aware of the fact the other was of the opposite sex, making for a relationship that was charming or youthful, or maybe you could even call it exciting. However, we were still at an age where calling us young men and women would probably be a bit too gracious. Of course, we didn't know a thing about love, so we couldn't understand that exciting feeling in our chests, both bitter and sweet, that we only felt when we were alone together. However, we realized there was some unknown emotion hidden behind that feeling, and as our hearts raced, we had our hands on the door. That was the exciting age we were at. And then George makes the first move and steals her away. So, at some point our discussion about mystery novels just became an excuse for us to meet alone.
ホワイダニットを大切にした推理小説ってあまりねえんだよな。
There aren't many mystery novels that care much about the why done it.
ホワイダニット？
The why done it?
犯人の動機ですか？
You mean the culprit's motive?
ああ、
Yeah.
推理小説で探るべき3つの論点はフーダニット、ハウダニット、そしてホワイダニット。
There's 3 points you need to figure out in a mystery novel: the who done it, the how done it, and the why done
こ
it.
の前者2つを扱う小説は結構多いと思うが、最後のホワイダニットを扱う小説っ
A
て
lot of mysteries deal with the first two, but surprisingly few worry about the final one.
犯人特定後に動機を自白する作品は結構あると思いますけど。
Well, I know about many works that take great care to have a culprit confess his or her motive after he's been found out. That's not concerned with the why. That's not a mystery that involves the why done it, though, Shannon. And I think Battler's gonna say that in a second.
それを犯人が自白する前に推理できるようになってなければダメなん
But it
だ。
has to be something you can reason out before the culprit confesses, or it doesn't count. Exactly.
動機、俺は個人的にはアンフェアだと思ってる。
Personally, I think it's unfair for a person who supposedly didn't have a motive to commit the crime unless it's possible to reason his or her motive out. Who done it? Who's the culprit? How done it? How did he commit the crime? Why done it? Why did he commit the crime? Yeah, not a lot focuses on why done it. Also because it's really hard to if you know the who and the how, the why is often just the most straightforward reason. If you know who does it, you're like, okay, who did this and how did they do it? Okay, and then the why is often reduced to something straightforward and simple from there. Because people's motivations can be straightforward if you know the person already.
誰が犯人かとか、どんなトリックでとか。
There's a lot of works that ask about who the
それ
culprit
を問う
is.
作品は
What
すげ
tricks
え
they
多いぞ。
use.
いや、ほとんどだろうな。
In fact, almost all are like
しか
that.
し、動機を推理する作品ってのは決して多くないと思う。
But I don't think there's many novels that ask you to figure out the motive.
そうですね。
Good point. Now, if Rikishi has a author's message in this chapter, like he did in chapters I think 7 and 8 of Higurashi, and he says, "I wrote this because I wanted people to try and figure out the why done it, or at least investigate the why done it." I think that's a better argument than his previous argument for Higurashi about the true good ending he wanted to write. Because I think why done it is still a question posed by a mystery novel. It's just rarely relevant and takes a lot of work to factor in, especially since you don't actually know anything about Shannon. But it doesn't seem like he's it didn't seem like he quite wrote the story to be a why-done-it mystery. So it wouldn't really make sense for him to say something like that. At least from my perspective right now, where I'm like, it doesn't seem like the mystery is a why-done-it, so having him say I wrote this to be a why-done-it book or mystery wouldn't make sense, right?
Who, how, why の3つの中で一番ないがしろにされている要素かもしれませ
That
ん
might be
ね。
the most neglected of the three.
ホワイダニットを大切にしない推理小説ってのはなんだか一味足りないように思う。
Mysteries that don't take the why-done-it seriously don't feel complete to me.
いや、つまらないって言ってんじゃない。
I'm not saying they're boring.
な
No.
んていうのか。
More like they're missing the most important part.
一番大切な
一番大切
The most
なも
important
の
part's
が
missing?
足りん。
心だよ。
The heart?
心が
The heart's
足りな
missing?
い。
心。
The heart.
人の心ってのはすごく重要だと思うんだ。
I think the human heart's a really important thing.
人間が殺人を決意し、計画し、準備し、実行に踏み切るには
A person's gonna decide to commit murder, plan it out, and get everything ready and actually
も
carry it
の
out.
すごい大きな心の力
You
が
need
必
an
要なはず
incredibly
なんだ。
strong force of the heart. The full motive is the full motive for these planned. So, are we going for the full motive of the planned crimes? Or are we going for the full motive of Beatrice the witch, who is sort of still the planner of the crimes? But might be separate. Like, why is everyone dying? It might be separate to why is everyone dying. You could say it's to connect everyone to her internal world's narrative. You could say it's to connect everyone in a real way to her internal world's narrative, or to try and rectify the disconnect between their current persona and their alternative persona of Beatrice, where both of them are pursuing their own internal motivations. And Beatrice needs to pursue this crime as a goal to bring someone into her world, quote unquote, at least from Shannon Beatrice's perspective. That could be a pretty straightforward motive, right? She says my world is lacking without anyone to share it with, but she isn't aware of like the relationship between George or Shannon or Battler or anything like that. So when she sees it, she says, well, I need to bring it in. That seems pretty straightforward, if that's the way it's going. Heart is what moves people. In other words, only the heart can kill a person. When an emotional upheaval grows strong enough to make a person want to kill, the result is a tragedy called murder. If we turn it around, does that mean the true way to close in on the crime is by searching for the heart that brings about the tragedy of murder? Only the heart can kill a person, so if a person has been killed, you must search for that heart? That's what he's saying.
だからさ、
And that's
犯
why
人がただの殺人狂で面白半分に事件を起こしてるって作品は
really enjoy novels where the
なんだか
culprit's
少し
just a homicidal maniac who
好
kills
き
for
になれ
fun.
ない。
殺すに値する十分な心の動きを描いた作品が
You
お好
like
きだと
novels that show a strong enough movement to the heart to lead to
そう
murder?
さ。
Right.
そしてそれを推理させてくれる作品が俺は本当は一番好きなんだ。
My favorite ones are the novels that let you reason that out. As he spoke, he looked back at me and smiled. Before today, I used to like novels that focused on exposing tricks. However, I decided to look for novels like the ones he recommended in the future.
心ってやつを
I don't
俺
like
はないがし
neglecting
ろ
the
にした
heart.
くない。人は心で動いてるんだからな。
The heart's what makes people move. Meanwhile, present Battler, completely forgetting the heart until, well, he magically acquires the powers
そうですね。
to understand everything, and then proceeds to still be incompetent.
おっしゃる通りだと
Yeah,
思います。
I think you're right. This isn't limited to the mystery genre. All humans are moved by their hearts all the time. That's an okay argument. Stories are thoroughly lacking when a villain lacks a motive and is just evil. I mean, it can be simple, but it helps to have most or many of your characters with a real motive, rather than, I am good, therefore I am not evil. Or I'm evil and therefore I'm not good. Being able to notice the heart is what allows for interactions between people. No, interactions between hearts. None of us humans can live on our own, and yet we have no way of peeking into the hearts of others. That's why every meeting between people is a mystery of the heart. Finding those, reasoning about them, and understanding each other is the key to interactions between people and hearts. The two of us are here all alone talking together about mysteries, and through that, we're searching out each other's hearts. Speaking of the heart's mysteries, I want you to feel about me the way I feel about you. We're both searching, trying to figure out the depths of the other's heart in this mystery of love. I'm out of hot chocolate. That's unfortunate.
もうこんな時間だな。兄貴たちを待たせちゃってるかな。
I wonder if Aniki and the others are waiting for us.
そろそろ戻った方がいい時間ですね。
Should probably go back to
シャノンちゃんと話してると、あっという間に時間が過ぎちまうな。
Time seems to fly when I'm talking with you, Shannon-chan. You seem to be speaking the words of my heart. We were thinking the same thing, so the same words
い
came
つま
out.
でも二人きりでお話をできたらいいのに。
I wish we could talk together like this forever.
時計の針が恨めしいです。
I hate clocks.
俺もだぜ。
Same here.
六軒島で一番楽しいのは、こうしてシャノンちゃんと話すことだからな。
Talking about this stuff with you is the most fun part of coming to Rockinjima. And when I saw that his smiling eyes were looking right at me, I turned away. I couldn't let him see my suddenly red face. In
私も
before Shannon is...
外の世界へ出られたなら、
If only I could leave this place. Yeah, if only Shannon was a complete psychopath and was just like, I'll set up the ultimate mystery for my mystery-loving friend Battler by killing his whole family. I feel like that's leaning on the homicidal maniac side of things, as Shannon doesn't seem to be that obsessed with Battler. Seems like a weak motive.
もっともっとたくさんの本を読めるの
I'd
に
be able to read so much more. Bookshop on Nijima that I go to and the bookshop he goes to in the city are on completely different scales. The book exchange between the two of us has become completely one-sided, with him giving me all the books.
シャノンちゃんはいつまで使用人を続ける気なんだ？
How long do you plan to be a servant, Shannon-chan?
わかりません。
I don't know.
もしいつか
Well, if
辞め
someday
る時が来たら
you decide to quit,
来たら
if I do,
俺のところへ来いよ。
come on over to my place. He said it almost carelessly. Maybe he was a little embarrassed since he laughed weakly and blushed
そ
a
した
little.
ら
And
今
then
度はもう時間も何も気にせずに済むもんな。
we won't need to worry about time running out
そ
anymore.
うですね。
Right.
ずっと一緒にいられますね。
We'd be together as long as we wanted. The little secret dates on this island only happened a few times a year, and even when they did happen, it was only for a short, uncertain period of time. It wouldn't work over the phone or with letters. We can only talk about our mystery when we're standing together like this.
必ずその日は来るさ。
I know the day will come
来
someday.
るでしょうか。
You think it will?
ああ、
Yep.
絶対にな。
I'm certain of it. Certain? Why is he certain?
その日が来たら
When that day comes,
俺が白馬にまたがって迎えに来てやるぜ。
I'll come for you riding a white horse. What? After saying this, he turned away. He was probably too proud to show me his blushing cheeks, but even without seeing it, I knew what his face looked like. To come riding on a white horse. Isn't that like a prince riding with a white horse? What exactly does that mean? Um. Interesting. And see when I hear white horse, my first thought is that that's one of the four horsemen, as I think it's like white, red, black, and pale, right? Are the colors of the four horses of the horsemen? Red is obviously a noticeable color for horses. It's extremely unusual. But yeah. That's my thought when it's like a white horse, and when you want to say like white horse, I'm like, well, you could say purity, but I'm just thinking that. Does it mean you're gonna be my prince? That feeling when you pin all your loves and hopes for freedom on a kind of callous 12-year-old who wouldn't be able to help anyway, since there's no way his parents would have let her live with him. I mean, you're able to go wherever you want to. You're able to leave when you're ready. It's just they're not at that point. She's not at that point where she can or seems to want to leave. My mind was going blank, so I couldn't reason out his mystery of love, even though it was all plain and simple. I wonder. When that day will come?
シャノンちゃんさえ決心したならすぐに
Anytime you're ready. My heart skipped a beat. It was so sweet and yet it hurt.
俺はいつだっていいんだぜ
Anytime's good for me.
シャノンちゃんの人生さ
After all, this is your life we're talking about, Shannon
よく考
Chan.
えてから決心するといい
Think about it carefully before you decide. I imagine Badler's parents or him could work something out. It's not like his parents are broke as fuck. I mean, apart from their terrible business ventures that cost them tons of money. In the future, they're pretty well off. It's not like one more mouth will bankrupt them.
俺はその決心がいつであってもそれを尊重するぜ
Once you've made up your mind, I'll respect your decision no matter when you make it.
その日までずっと待ってるぜ
I'll keep on waiting till that day comes. If only I'd been a bit more foolish and courageous. Rudolph would be fine with him already bringing a girl home at his age. Is she able to leave? We don't actually know. We don't know if she's allowed to leave or if she's permitted to do anything by Genji, since Genji is like pulling the strings behind most of the events of her life. So at this point we don't know if she could leave, but assuming she did, I don't think Rudolph and Asumu would be unable to support that. And whether they thought they'd be willing to, I don't know. These Japanese families are really strict and rude. See, I can make the assumption that, like, I think I could make a reasonable assumption that, like, my family personally, if someone was in trouble or some shit, they'd probably be like okay with that. And I know they'd be good for it. I know they'd probably be willing to help. But I don't know if Rudolph and Asumu would be down for that. Or even if this is like the right circumstance where you'd want to consider that. It's not like she doesn't have anywhere else to go. I mean, she has like a full-time job. It's a brutal job that people can sometimes quit as early as the third day on. But she's sort of getting her education. I guess if she wanted to proceed into high school, that would be a bigger concern, right, for her future? It'd be like, well, if I'm working for Genji and the Yoshiromiya family, I can't proceed. I can't continue with my high school education. I'm not really going to be anything other than a servant. I'd like to at least finish and get my, high school diploma. Not exactly high education here, but, if you were to say, like, you want to do that and think that'll get me somewhere, maybe it would be, like, a life choice it's essential that you might need that for. If only I'd been a bit more foolish and courageous. I could have said then and there that I was already prepared and asked him to take me away from the island right away. I don't know if he actually would have followed through with that. That doesn't seem like something he was seriously proposing. But I couldn't say it. I had to think carefully about my future for both our sakes. And she should at least follow up and ask if she wants that. She should ask if he's serious about that. My head was filled with pointless, senseless thoughts. I'm glad. Thank you. With his back still to me, he scratched his head and laughed. I knew he was doing this out of embarrassment, so I could clearly tell what his expression must have been. In the same way, he must have realized what my face looked like. We're both puzzle solvers of love. We theorize about each other's love, solving each other's mysteries. Thanks for giving me time. You can have all the time in the world. No. I feel bad. Yeah, I kept you waiting too long. I've decided. What, so Sue? I should say, I'll decide. I don't mean that I'll quit my job today right now. Yes. 1 year. 1 year from now. Ah, there we go. Did he fail to return a year from now? If a year after now you still feel like coming for me on a white horse, and me too, if I feel still like you a year from now, I'd like to dedicate the rest of my life to you. 1 year from now, right here. Did he forget his promise? Is that what did he forget? I'd like to make my decision.
1年間
A year,
いい時間だな
That sounds good.
春夏秋冬
Spring, summer, autumn, winter.
それだけの時間を過ごして自分の心と正直に向
It's
き
a
合
good
うと
amount
いい
of
ぜ
time to look honestly into your heart.
ですから
So,
来年
next year,
きっと
please
迎えに来てくださいね
come for me, okay?
おう
Yep. He responded to my cowardly determination with a quick, strong answer.
その日が来るのを待っているぜ
I'll be waiting for that day to come.
はい私も
I'll be waiting too.
待っていますからね絶対
Make sure you come,
来
okay?
てくださいね
あ
Yeah.
絶対ですよ
Don't forget.
来年来てくださいね
Come here next year, okay?
あ
Yeah.
絶
Yeah.
対来るぜ
I'll come, that's for certain.
ここで会おうな
I'll meet you right here. That's for certain. Mm-hmm. I see. So, this emotion that feels like sweet suffocation is love? It's an emotion I don't know, one I don't have. Though my magic can grant any wish, though my paradise can grant any wish, the thing I cannot have, the incomprehensible emotion, it burns like fire, and yet madly one wants to hold it close. All I know is that no matter how great a witch I may become, I cannot create this emotion. It must be given by another person. The first time I realized I wasn't all-powerful, and I knew what Shannon had discovered in the world of humans.
この感情
This
は
emotion. Sorry, Beatrice, but your philosophy, according to all the online advice, rather than searching for love from other people, you should always learn to love yourself first. I'm not saying that all these people, all these like random ass internet philosophers and self-help experts are right, but I'm just pointing out that it seems to be something people seem to believe. At least in the 21st century, that you're supposed to do that. I'm not sure I entirely agree with it, since it seems more into... I agree with Ryukishi's perspective, where I think you might need an external source, but... I mean, that's what people like to say on the internet these days. It's like you shouldn't look for love before you love yourself. So it shouldn't be an essential or important part of your life. This emotion.
ダメだな。
It's just too much.
覚えちまったら
Once you've felt it,
忘れられぬではない
there's no
か。
forgetting it, is there? Shannon, you win. Love, is it? Maybe the most important element, the one I lack. Shannon, I'll watch and see how your love develops, so please teach me more and more about this new emotion. Yeah, we inherited the intensity of our love from Kinzo a bit. Seems to be the case. Instead of, oh, Beatrice, it's Batora! Battler instead of Beatrice. Back to the chapel we go.
この姿は
This form is...
貸してあげるわ。
I'm lending it to you.
私、バカは嫌いだから。
After all, I hate idiots.
仮の名としてクレルと名乗りなさい。
Call yourself Claire as a temporary
それ
name.
ともベアトがいい？
Or would you prefer Beato?
感謝します。
You have my
みすぼ
gratitude.
らしい姿をさらさずに済みます。
I won't have to expose my pitiful form. Berncastel had given Claire a fake form. It was a temporary form for the person acting the part of Beatrice. A fake to fool those who still hadn't discovered Beatrice's true form. Wasn't that like super not subtle?
それが
Then
異なる世界の
is this a tale?
私の物語なのですか？
Me in another world?
リオン、
Leon?
これが異なる世界のあなたにして
This
我
is
の物
indeed
語。
the tale of you in another world, and also my tale. Yet strangely, Leon has blonde hair. Was it in fact a quirk of genetics that gave him blonde hair that made it so that he was not thrown off a cliff? Is that what saves you from being thrown off a cliff? Blonde hair and gray eyes rather than Jack's notes. Green hair and blue eyes? No, what color is Shannon? I think Shannon's brown and brown and gray as well, or brown and brown as well, right? Let's just do a quick let's just take a quick look to remember what her blue gray eyes and brown hair. It's clearly the fact that Leon is blonde that saves him from being thrown off a cliff. That's the only main real difference we've seen. It certainly has nothing to do with his chest. We can just assume that Shannon's stuffing.
私が人間としてでなく魔女として生きる世界の物語。
The tale of a world where I live as a witch and not a human.
私も自分の人生にもしも想像することがあります。
I am capable of imagining what if scenarios for my own
し
life.
かし
However,
あなたの話す物語は
the tale you tell,
私の想像を
it's
超え
beyond
すぎている。
anything I can imagine.
それでも
Even so, there's someone
もう
who
一人
read
のお前のたどった人生だ。
it's the life of another you that's led. There's people who have read this episode and don't realize the conclusion and thought Yasu is a brand new character despite literally having Shannon as their fictitious imaginary friend. Oh my goodness. Some people really do need to be bludgeoned with a brick to figure things out. I mean, I don't think I'm a genius at figuring this shit out, and I haven't really been. I stopped doing any long-term predictions as of like 6, but I mean, I feel like I'm just being handed it on a plate here. It's not even like, ooh, this might be a fantastic twist in the future, or whoa, wouldn't it be crazy? It's like, alright, it's this. You guys haven't figured out that it's Shannon? I'm sorry, like, I can't really help you.
だからって
Still,
容易に受け入れられるものではありません。
doesn't mean I can accept it easily. Leon suddenly yelled and looked at the floor. Leon already knew. Because of the fragments lent by Berncastel, Leon knew. There was a different world where Leon lived as the Golden Witch Beatrice, and in this world, eventually, on the day of the 1986 October family conference, she would be the ringleader of a terrible crime. She would be the ringleader of a terrible crime? A different world where Leon? Isn't this implying that isn't this implying Leon's gender?
いくら異なる世界とはいえ、
Even if it's a different world?
私が家族や親族を、使用人の人たちみんなを巻き込んで恐ろしい事件の首謀者になる。
You're saying that I get my entire family and all the servants involved in a terrible crime I'm the mastermind of? Yeah, and?
それに私はどう向き合えばいいというのです。
You just need to understand, by some quirk of genetics, you were given blonde hair, and your blonde hair is what keeps you from killing anyone, and keeps you from being thrown off a cliff.
黙って聞いて
Be quiet.
静
Listen
か
and
に
figure
理
it
解
out.
しろ。
別の人生では
In a
私
different
が
life?
使用人をして
I
い
end
て
up as a servant?
かと思えばいつの間にか魔女になっていて、
It wasn't enough, I suddenly become a witch.
そしてやがては恐ろしい殺
I
人事件を
eventually
何度
carry
も
out
繰り返
several
す。
terrifying murders.
そ
And?
れをどう理解しろと言うんです。
How am I supposed to understand that? Isn't that what we're unraveling right now, Leon? Keep wanting to say lion. Leon.
ああ、そうだろうな。
I see where you're coming from.
誰にも理解はできねえ
I
だろ
doubt
うよ。
anyone could understand.
こいつももはや誰にも理解
I
し
mean,
て
this
もらえる
person
とは
here
思って
thought
ね
no one would ever understand.
だから
That's why
お
you're
前なん
here.
だ。だからベルンカステルはお前とこいつ出会うはずのない自分同士を
That's
こ
why
うして出会
Berncastel
わせたん
brought
だ。
you two people. Two people who should never have met together like this.
別に深い意味はない
Not like I had any deep reason for it.
単なる気まぐれよ。
It's just a whim.
誰にも理解できない動機だからリオン、せめてお前だけは理解
This
しろ。
is a motive that no one else can understand, Leon, so you need to be the one to understand it.
この物語の主役は俺じゃない。
I'm not the main character in this tale. Wait, which set of detective rules say that the servants can never be the criminals? Let's see, mystery novel. I could have sworn that was literally used verbatim earlier. I'm just trying to remember. The servants are the killers. Wasn't that referred to by Willard specifically at the start of this chapter? You can't use a servant. I believe he said that in one of the rules. I just don't remember who it is. Anyway, not super important. I don't actually care. I just think it's funny that he quoted that. What do I think of Willard so far? Oh, he seems alright. Yeah, it's like the 14th Van Dyne rule. Let's see, I'm just gonna look that up real quick. Oh, Van Dyne's commandments. That's not correct. Let's see. It is oh, it's the 11th. It is forbidden for the servant to be the culprit. Interesting, but not that relevant. That is specifically to deny the Shannon or canon culprit theory? Is it specifically to deny the culprit rule, but not the mastermind rule? And that's not important. I just think it's funny because he referred to it and you're just like, okay. But yeah, Willard seems alright, honestly. I don't hate him. He's kind of just like sitting there. He's the new stand-in for Battler, and he's not really doing anything particularly interesting. He's kind of just there. I don't have a strong opinion on this Willard guy. Like, he's a character. He's around. He seems to be doing okay. If he sticks around, if he's only around for this arc and the next one, like, it's no big deal. He's not really... He's kind of just there to ask questions and move the plot along. I guess I'd say I like him because he's not in the way. It doesn't feel like he's actively... His own abilities or he is actively impeding anything. And he's just, like, presently the device the author is using to communicate or facilitate information transfer. So this is a motive no one else can understand, Leon. You need to be the one to understand it. I'm not the main character in this tale. Says as he proceeds to, not be tabbed into Umineko. You are. I'm just here to help you understand.
ウィルは犯人の動機を理解したと言いま
You
した。
said you understand the culprit's motive.
それは
Is that motive?
みんなを殺すに足る納得できる動機なんですか？
A satisfying explanation for why I'd kill my entire family?
さあな。
Who knows?
それを考えるのは自分だ。
For you to decide.
俺が納得しても、お前が納得するわけじゃねえ。
Even if I say it's satisfying, it doesn't mean it'll
お
satisfy
前
you.
の納得は、
You
お
need to
前がする
understand that decide for that yourself.
私には何が何だか
Have a clue
本当
what's
に
going
わから
on.
ベアトリーチェが起こしたといういくつものゲーム版という名の事件を見ました。
I've seen several crimes called game boards that Beatrice supposedly carried out.
そして今もう一人の私が語る
And now I hear
異なる人生についても聞いています。
talking about a different life from
で
mine.
も全然それと事件がつながらない。
There's no connection between that and the crime.
理解ができない。
I don't understand.
私もこの時
At this point in the tale, even
やが
I
てそのような恐ろしい事件を引き起こすことになるなど
carry
想
out
像
such
することもできませんでした。
terrible crimes.
いえ、仮に想像し得たとしても
Even if I had been able to dream of it.
私に
I
あのような事件を起こす力は
I did not have the power to commit those
あり
crimes
ま
at
せん
that
でし
time.
た。
だろうな。お
Probably.
前の不幸は多分、
Your misfortune probably
自分の
came
謎を解いたことだろうな。
when you solved the epitaph's riddle.
おじい様が出題したという隠し黄金の碑文で
You
す
mean
か？
the epitaph about the hidden gold which grandfather supposedly wrote?
事件ごとに異なる共犯者を得るシステム。
There exists a system for gaining different accomplices for each
導
crime.
き出される推理は、犯人が莫大な金を持っていたという可能性。
Reasoning can lead us to the possibility the culprit possessed a vast amount of
そ
money.
して、
We can also envision another system.
すべてを黄金鏡に招き、
It involves inviting all to the Golden Land
すべての恋を
and
成就
making
させ
all loves bear
るもう
fruit.
一つのシステム。
動機だけでなく
It wasn't just the
そ
motive.
こまでをお
You've
察
seen
し
that
で
part
した
as
か？
well? Solving the puzzle of the Golden Land works, yeah?
それこそが、第4のゲームの最後の謎の答えだ。
That's the answer to the final riddle from the fourth
お
game.
前の最大の不幸は、碑文を解き、
Your great misfortune was solving the epitaph.
本当の意味で黄金の魔女として復活し、その
Reviving
魔
as the
力を
Golden
得て
Witch
し
in
まっ
the
た
truest
ことだ。
sense and gaining magical power.
今となってはあれはやはり不幸なことだったのでしょうか？
Not really a misfortune after all?
わかりません。
I don't know.
しかし1986年にバトラさんが帰ってくるという事実が変わらぬ限り
However, as long as the fact that Battler's son returns in 1986 remains unchanged,
何かの悲劇は起こったでしょう。
some sort of tragedy certainly would have occurred.
そうだな。
Right.
バトラが帰ってくるのが1年早いか遅い
If
かだ
Battler
ったら
returned a year or earlier or later, It might
事
not have
件
occurred.
は起こらなかったかもしれね
The incident may not have occurred. So she found the stuff this year, alright. Some small incident probably would have occurred, and it surely would have been a mysterious, impossible incident which no one could have explained. But even so, compared to the Rockenjima serial murders, it would have been a tiny thing.
バトラ君が
Battler-kun
1年早いか遅い
returned
か
a
だ
year
ったら
earlier or later?
とは
Then what?
運命とは本当に皮肉なものですね。
It can be so filled with irony.
私に魔女の人生を歩ませ、気分を解くことで、
It made me
本当
walk
の
the
魔女
path
と
of a
なり、
witch. And when I solved the epitaph, I became a true
そ
witch.
して6年を経て、
Then 6
彼の
years
帰
passed,
りを知る。
and I learned of his return.
それらすべてが運命なら
If
ば、
all that was
こ
fate,
れは私にとって必然であり、
this crime must have been
逃れられなか
inevitable
った事件
and inescapable for me.
なのです。
バトラは1980年
In 1980,
母アスムの死と父ルドルフの早すぎる再婚に憤慨して
Bandler was
後ろ宮家
resentful
を
because
飛
of
び
the
出した
death of his mother Asumu and his father's remarriage that came too soon. So we left the Ushirmiya family.
そして6年間
For 6 whole years, he had no direct
Ushiromiyakeを離れた
contact with them, which means he didn't talk at all to Shannon slash. You know what it's called, Beatrice. Let's go. He convinced his grandparents on his mother's side to help him and went by his mother's maiden name. Then, when those grandparents passed away, he finally made up with Rudolph and returned to the Ushiromiyake family again in 1986.
その不運がお前に事件の動機
That
を
bad luck gave birth to your motive for the crime.
思いました。
I did
ど
wonder
うして
why, after 6 whole years,
今さら帰ってくるの
did
か
he
と。
finally come back.
そうだな
I
いっ
understand.
そ永遠に帰ってこない方が
In a way, it would have been better for you if he never came back. Yeah,
もちろん苦しみは続いていたでしょう。
of course, my suffering would have
し
continued.
かし、大量殺人という許されざる犯罪に手を染めずに
However,
は
I
済
may
んだ
not
か
have
もしれ
tainted
ません。
myself with the unforgivable crime of mass murder.
バトラ君が後ろ宮家を去り
How could Battler-kun
それが
leaving
どんな
create a
動機に
motive?
なるというんですか
Well, let's see. It's Leon. Let's answer Leon's question in as straightforward a manner as possible. Shannon is asking Battler to save her. Decides yes, she'll take his saving next year, and then Battler never returns, creating a motive. Battler doesn't return, creating a motive. And irritation. Then he returns 6 years later, 5 years late, not having remembered that the promise he made. So he's not gonna save Shannon. He doesn't, in fact, even care about her, and she's kind of stuck in a she's in a relationship with George, sort of. I'd be a little bit salty too if I was expecting to be off this shitty island and out of this. If I didn't like the Ushiromiyas, I'd be like this hell that is the Ushirimiya family. This prison. For an extra 5 years. Maybe she just found the gold that year, and that's why it's this year that she's got all the wealth, all the power, and it's a disaster for the Ushiromiyas family already because she's able to bribe people with her vast wealth and superior knowledge of the island. That seems to create a motive and like a method by which to get other people to commit the murders for you.
逆だな
Got it backwards.
逆
バトラが去ったから事件が起こるんじゃない
Crime didn't occur because Battler
Battler
left.
が
It
帰
happened
ってき
because he
たから
came back.
事件
Yeah,
が
I'd
起こ
be
るんだ
tilted. I can see being that tilted. Yep.
こうして考えれば考える白宮パトラ。
Ushiromiyas
なんと
Battler.
憎らしい男か。
He was quite a disagreeable man.
何より憎らしいのは、彼は自分のせいで事件が起こることに最後まで何の自覚もなかったこと。
More than anything else, because he never realized the outbreak of the crime was his fault.
最後には思い出した
He did remember in the
た
end.
だしお前が諦めて消えたより
That's long after you gave up and
後
disappeared.
のことだがな
それが本当なら、
That's so.
私の心も
You'd give my heart some peace.
少しは救われるので。
私には未だにあなたたちが
I don't
何
have
の
a clue what
話
you're
をし
talking
です
about
が
anymore. I'll ask
逃
you
げずに
bluntly.
聞こうと思います知ろうと思います
I want to
一
know.
体あなたに何があって事件を決意するというのですか
What on earth happened to you that made you decide to commit a crime?
そうだ。それが一番
That's the
大
most
事なん
important
だ。
part.
後ろ宮バトラが推理小説に対し、ホワイダニットを尊んだように。
Like how Shiramiya Battler respected the why done it in
黄金
mystery
の魔女の
novels.
物語もゲームも謎もすべて
That's where the answers to all
そこ
riddles
に
are hidden
秘めら
both
れ
in
て
the
いる。
tale of the Golden Witch and in the game.
では
In that case,
引き続き語りましょう。
allow me to continue.
1980年私が事件を決意する
6 years before I resolved myself to
6
committing
年
the
前か
crime.
ら第6章試される日
Day of Trials. 1986 years until the incident.
バトラ様が
Adler-sama?
後ろ宮家の席を出られ
Left
た
the Yoshiramiya family?
旦那様とルドルフ様がそう話してるのよ
Because-sama and Rudolph-sama were
も
saying.
うびっくり
What a shock!
お前の人生にも、そして家庭にも。
I have no intention of criticizing your way of life or your family situation. Battler not being very responsible when he promised to save someone from, or effectively marry someone and immediately abandoning them.
私は何も文句を言うつもりはない。
However, father is in a towering
し
rage.
かし、親父殿はカンカンだよ。
Disinheriting a son is
感
one
動
thing.
ならまだしも、この方から愛想を尽かして席を出ていくなど。
I've never even heard of a child becoming fed up and leaving the family on his own.
誰に似たんだか。
Well, that battler, he can be surprisingly stubborn.
バトラのやつめ、妙に頑固
Sort of like someone else I know.
バトラ君の気持ちがわからないのであれば、父親としての資格を疑われるかと思いますよ。
If you are unable to understand Battler-kun's feelings, one might question your right to be a father.
よしたまえ。
Enough, Natsuhi.
キリエさんの子供をしっかり育てたいという責任をルドルフなりに示したということだろう。
I'm sure Rudolph was just trying to show how dedicated he was to raising Kirie-san's child in his own way.
それが来年だったなら何も言うことはありません。
You'd have nothing to say if this were happening next year.
しかし、どうして今年なのですか？
But why this year?
もも明けないうちから。
He's still in his period of mourning?
解任の時期を考えると、ルドルフさんを見下さざるを得ません。
If you consider the timing of this pregnancy, one must acknowledge that Rudolph-san has acted disgracefully. Tells you something about how Yasuda thought of Battler, that in her first message bottle game board, the first action Battler takes when he sees Shannon after 6 years is trying to grope her. Yeah. And she treats that like the real world, like... Yeah. If someone who promised their love to you and then left you and then did that the next time you met, you wouldn't feel bad about murdering him and his family? Yeah. Yeah, I also wouldn't be trusting George either, right? You're like, oh yeah, the last person from your family who promised me the fucking world. Where's he been? Oh, that's right, he abandoned me immediately. And then it's like, George promises you the world, and you're just like, yeah, like, okay. You're gonna have to prove... I'm gonna be a little bit more, sticky about this one. Prove it! Like, your cousin said the same shit to me, and you know where we're at? I'm still fucking here. You're saying the same thing? Come on.
まあそういじめないで
Come
く
on,
れ。
don't be so harsh. What do you mean, don't be so harsh? It's true.
これが俺なりのけじめの取り方なんだ。
This is my way of atoning for what I've done. Is it? Is it?
バトラ君が亡くなられたアスムさんに代わってあなたに抗議されている気持ち。
Battler-kun's trying to protest against you on the behalf of his departed mother, Asumu-san.
本当によくわかります。
I understand how he feels.
もしここにいたなら、一緒に肩を抱いて泣いてあげたい気持ちですよ。
If he were here, I'd want to hold him and cry along with him. Natsuhi's words were sharp. I mean, it is suspicious, right? You cheat on your wife with your girlfriend, your wife dies, you immediately marry your girlfriend. And your kid's just like, the fuck is wrong with you, dipshit? They pierced Rudolph mercilessly. Yep, her words are like daggers. Rudolph had no retort. His relationship with Kyrie had been adulterous, plain and simple. According to Rudolph, he had been close to Kyrie longer than Osamu. And even after his marriage to Osamu, that relationship had not disappeared.
なんだよそれ
What the hell does that mean?
このクソ親父
Old bastard.
じゃあつまりあんたはずっと母さんを裏切ってたわけじゃねえかよ
You've just been betraying mom from the start?
そりゃ俺だってキリエ様知ってるさ
Sure, I know Kyrie-san.
あんたのビジネスパートナーでいつも事業の相談に乗ってくれる頼れる友人だって聞かされてたさ
You told me she was your business partner and a friend whose advice you could always rely on.
それが男女の仲だったなんて
If you're trying to say that
今
after all
更
this
言われたっ
time.
て知ったことかよ
She was more than that. Why would I give a damn?
母さんが死んだ後なら勝ってさ
After mom's death, you could have done whatever you
俺
wanted.
だってあんたの人生だ好きにしろと言ってるさ
I'm right there with you, saying you should live life as you please.
キリエさんの解任はいつだよ
When did Kyrie-san get
まだ
pregnant?
母さんは生きてるじゃないか
Back when mom was alive, right?
ああやっとわかった
And
ぜ
now I finally
な
see.
んで俺はあんたにこんなにも吐き気を感じるの
This
かっ
is
て
why you
な
always want to make me want to
あ
vomit.
んた母さんがここで死んでくれて嬉しかったのそう
I'm
なん
glad
だ
mom's finally dead. You are, aren't you?
もし母さんが生きてたら不倫のことや子供のことでどう隠すかで苦労が絶えなかったろうから
I'm
な
sure it would have been hard on you keeping your infidelity and even a kid's secret while mom was still alive.
都合よく母さんが死んでくれたからキリエさんと結婚して新しい子を俺の弟か妹になんてよく言えたもんだぜ
Now that mom conveniently kicked it, you get to marry Kyrie-san and I get a new little brother or sister or
母
something?
さんが天国で泣いてる
You can bet mom's crying in heaven.
恥を知れ恥を知れよ
You old bastard, you're embarrassing.
俺は恥ずかしいぜ
I'm
あんた
embarrassed.
と同じ後宮の姓を名乗ることが恥ず
So
かしくて
embarrassed.
仕
I
方ね
can't stand to have the same last name as
え
you.
生まれてくる子に罪はねえさ
That kid's
両親が
guiltless.
揃ってなきゃかわいそうだ
It'd be too bad if he or she doesn't have both parents
Say it.
together.
新しい家族を育んで幸せに育ててやれよ
Build a new family and raise the kid to have a happy
だ
life.
がな俺は許さねえ
But
か
I'm
ら
never
な
forgiving you.
だって母さんはもう
Mom
憎む
isn't here to
こと
hate you
もで
anymore.
きるだから俺が母さんに代わって
So I'll
あん
hate you
たを
in her
憎む
place.
全身全霊をかけてな
With all my body and soul.
クソ親父
So long, old bastard. Boom! Slam the door and get the fuck out of there.
もう十分だろう夏日
That's enough, Natsuhi. Natsuhi is not being subtle, but she's also not wrong.
ルドルフは決してバトラ君に愛情を失ったわ
Rudolph
けでは
hasn't
ない
lost the affection he feels for Battler Kun.
長い時間をかけるだろうが親子の絆を取り戻したいと願ってい
May
る
take some time, but he wants to fix their relationship one day.
父親として当然です
As any father
赤の
should.
他人ならいざ知れず
If it were some random stranger, that would be one thing, but this is your own flesh and blood son.
自分の血を分けた子供ならばそれが当然の責務です
But this is it's clearly your responsibility.
いいさ
Go ahead.
とことん俺を蔑んでくれ
Despise me all you want.
反論はしね
I won't
えそれ
argue.
が俺のけじめのつけ
That's
方
the only way I can atone.
せめて生まれてくる子だけは幸せにしたまえ
At the very least, make sure you give the new child a happy life.
生まれてくる子もバトラも
The kid who's gonna be born and Battler.
俺の子だ
They're both my kids.
アスムさんが亡くなりキリエさんと籍を入れられるのは
Wedding Kyrie-san after Asumu's death may have been painful for Battler
バ
Kun,
トラ君には苦々しいだろう
but
が
it was the best choice
生
you
まれ
could
て
make
く
for
る
the
子に
coming
とって
child.
最善だ私はお前を理解するよ
I understand why you did it.
バトラ君がアスムさんが亡くなって嬉しかっただろうとあなたをなじっ
And I
た
can
気持ち
understand
は
why Battler
よく
felt
わ
like
かります
telling you that you were happy Asumu-san is dead, yeah. I mean, Rudolph clearly is, right? He didn't want Asumu, he just wanted Kyrie now. That's how it goes.
もうよせ夏
Stop
日
Natsuhi. What's this? This is like the one time Natsuhi should be roasting the shit out of this guy. Go for it, Natsuhi. Usually I think Natsuhi is like making a fuss over fucking nothing, and now I'm like, dude. Unless Natsuhi's secretly cheating on Kraus, fucking roast the shit out of Rudolph. Go for it. It's open season on him today. Kraus is at best just taking pity. Maybe because Kraus is feeling guilty about cheating on Natsuhi? We don't have a plot hook for that, but the man's doing tons of business and losing money left, right, and center. Now, who knows? Maybe he's getting swindled by some gold digger. But yeah, you're saying she thinks so confidently no one would be able to solve the mystery she makes so that no one can solve it by putting many hints in episode 1 message bottle. I don't think the part where Battler tries to grope her is a very good hint for who the mastermind is. I don't think that's a very good hint. And it's especially not really a hint given that it's literally like his grab animation in like the fighting game. So it's not even like he grabs one person in particular, it's like he does it to fucking everybody in his family. I don't think that's actually much of a hint for anything. That's one of those things where you're like, ah yes, because they're guilty, this must because they're the mastermind, this must be the source of something. You know, this is a hint, and it's like, no, there are hints. There are hints, but I don't think that specifically is a hint. I mean, we could maybe go back at some point and look at the hints that were in episode 1, or I could rewatch my own videos. But I'm not sure that specifically is a hint.
すでにルドルフはなじるべき人間から十分にそれを受けている。
Rudolph has already been scolded enough by the person most fit to do so. Bruh, fucking everybody's fit to do so.
それより紅茶をもらえんか。
Now then, how about some black tea?
厨房の誰かに紅茶を頼んできてくれんか。
Go ask someone in the kitchen to make us some. Very well.
わかりました。
Natsuhi took this as a signal to leave the room and did so. Once she left, Kraus relaxed slightly.
アスムさんは気の毒だったが、
I feel bad for
生まれてく
Asumu-san.
る子を考えれば、これは偶然のタイミングだった
But
か
if we
もし
consider
れ
the
ない。
timing of that soon-to-be-born child, this might have been quite the coincidence. Actually, you know what? Natsuhi's murdered. So, you know what? Knowing this family, Kraus has probably already murdered someone too. So honestly, Rudolph could have probably killed Asumu. I mean, we did have Natsuhi murder an innocent servant girl and believes she killed a fucking baby. So I mean, if that's fine in this family, I'm going to assume Rudolph killing Asumu is just like, I feel bad for Asumu. You really had to axe her like that? I feel like you did her dirty. Anyway, come on, bro. Let's go. Let's go get a beer. Oh, you're giving it a reread right now? Every conversation after the first Twilight is everyone blatantly talking about what's going on? Yeah, this is quite the coincidence. It's almost as though
それを知って自分から舞台を降り
Asumu
た
knew that and stepped down from the stage of her own choosing.
俺がアスムを殺したのか
Did I kill Asumu?
だとしたら俺はいつから殺してたんだろうな
How long has it been since I started killing her?
アスムさんを大事に
If
思
you
う気
still
持ちが
treasure
まだある
Asumu-san's memory,
何年かけてでもバトラ君と復縁
no
した
matter
ま
how
え
many years it takes, you gotta fix your relationship with Battler-kun.
ああ
Yeah,
分かってる
I know.
そしてキリエさんと生まれてくる子にも等しい愛情を注ぎなさい
And pour just as much affection on Kirie-san and the new child that's to be
アス
born,
ムさんの十字架
while
を
also bearing Asumu-san's cross.
もし
Well, if they have
地獄にもリザー
reserved
ブ
seating in
も
hell,
特上の席を
If
俺に
they
一つ取っておいてほしいもんだぜ
I'd like to reserve myself a VIP spot. The news that Battler had abandoned the Ashirmiya name swept across the family.
バトラさんも大きの
Poor
時
Battler
に
son too.
いつかきっと仲直りをしてくれ
I
ると
believe he'll
信
make
じ
up
て
with
い
them
ますけ
eventually,
ど
but
親族の方々の都合だ。
this is a matter for the
使用
family.
人の知るところではない。
Not something servants need concern themselves with.
それよりも、新しく白宮家に加わられる桐江様のお顔を
Instead, we should focus on
早く
memorizing
覚
the
えね
face
ばならんな。
of the newest member of the Ashirmiya family, Kirie-sama.
それもそうですね。
That's true.
今
That's
年の
true.
親族会議にはいらっしゃるんですからね。
She'll be coming to the family conference this year. If the person who just joined the Ashirmiya family would be coming to the conference, then what about the person who just left the family?
ならバトラは来ないってことじゃない？
That means Battler isn't coming, right?
そう考えるのが妥当であろうな。
It seems the most probable outcome.
賑やかな男が一人か
How
け。
lonely is the
Nan to
loss of a
sabi
single
siya
noisy
naman.
man? Though most people felt a bit lonely to see Battler leave the family, they didn't think any more about it than that. However, what about Shannon? Wasn't Battler supposed to come for her on a white horse? I was surprised at first. I thought that since he left the family, he might not be coming to the island anymore. And if we consider Battler-san's feelings, this is only natural, I guess. I understand painfully well why he wanted to leave his family. But does that really mean he won't come to Rakunjima anymore? What on earth's going on? Will he really never return? Unable to ask him this directly, I was forced to live each day fretfully. Battler-san, I understand how you feel, but to say you'll never return because you abandoned your family, that's a lie, right? I was so confused that the world seemed to be spinning around me. I had a tight feeling in my chest, and I couldn't do anything or think about anything. I just couldn't think. When I happened to touch my cheek, I was surprised to find it hot and wet while wearing a truly miserable expression on my face. I was crying.
Shannon.
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 Shannon. From far away, I could hear someone calling to me, but it was a very strange sort of distance. Though it felt very far away, the voice also seemed to be coming from right beside me.
Shannon.
Shannon.
そなたの胸中。
I know your heart.
察するぞ。
大丈夫よ。
It's okay. Gop still doesn't have her name. Life is hard.
あくまでも親子喧嘩。
It's just a fight between a boy and his
そ
father.
して噂話には尾ひれがつくものよ。
I'm sure the rumors blow everything out of
きっ
proportion.
と大げさに伝わってるだけだわ。
Everything's just being exaggerated.
そうとも。
Indeed.
もう二度とバトラがこの島に来ないと決まったわけではない。
There are none who can say with certainty Battler will not return to the island.
気を強く持つのだ。
You do well to remain strong. Where is this place? Good night, my friend. I seem to remember it somehow. I think it reminds me of the scenery from a strange dream I once had. Then this must be another dream. I was there under an arbor surrounded by a golden rose garden, and two witches in white and red dresses showered words of encouragement upon me.
噂好きの若い使用人たちが話を好き勝手に膨らませているに違いないぞ。
You can be certain those rumor-mongering young servants are embellishing the story however they please.
席を抜けたなどと大げさな。
So he's changed his name, they say.
きっとただの親子喧嘩に違いないぞ。
Surely it's nothing more than a family quarrel.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
そうだといいのですが。
I wish I could believe that.
そうに決まってるわ。
Of course, it's true.
男の子だもの。
He's a boy after all.
父親と喧嘩の一つくらいするわ。
You can hardly be surprised he's had a few arguments with his dad.
そうともそうとも。
Precisely as you
す
say.
ぐに頭を冷やして仲直りするに決まっているではないか。
Clearly, they'll make it up to each other once they cool their heads.
男の喧嘩なんて火付きは良くてもすぐ燃え尽きちゃうものよ。
When men argue, it's always fiery at first, but they burn out quickly.
それに比べ女の喧嘩は炎こそ上がらぬがいつまでも火種が残るものよ。
In contrast, an argument between women burns like a steady flame, but the fuel never goes dry.
男の喧嘩など激しくとも一時。
Men's arguments are fierce but
す
short.
がすがしいもの
Quick
よ。
and easy.
そうですね。
You're right.
バトラさんとルドルフ様、
I hope Battler-san and Rudolph-sama.
早く仲直りするといいですね。
Make up soon.
するとも。
Oh, they will?
バトラーはいつも言っていたであろうが。
Haven't you heard Battler mentioning it all the time?
よく父親と喧嘩を
He
す
always
ると。
fights with his father.
今回もそれらのうちの一
It's
つ
just
と変
another
わ
one of
ら
those
ぬ
fights.
母親の死と父親の再婚で動
The
揺し
death
た
of
り
his
するよ
mother and his father's remarriage have merely upset him.
祖父
Copium.
母の家へ
Copium,
行って
that's
しま
what
っ
this
た
sounds
そう
like.
だけど、どうせ2、3日も頭を冷やせば元の鞘に収まるわ。
Sounds as though he's gone to live with his mother's parents, but after he's cooled his head for a few days, he'll come back. It sounds as if Gop is huffing a lot of copium.
ほらあれよ、プチ家出ってやつね。
It's like a kid running away from home, see? The two witches kept saying Battler's fight hadn't been anything huge. If it had been a mere family quarrel, the rumors wouldn't have started in the first place. Taking an optimistic view here isn't likely to prove useful.
いずれにせよだ。
Either
こ
way,
れはバトラ親子の問題。
it's a problem between Battler and his
放
father.
っておけば時間が解決してくれる。
If you're patient, time will heal all wounds.
そなたが気に病んでも仕方がなきことよ。
There's no point in your feeling bad over it.
今日バトラが来なかったからといって、これからも来ないと決めつけるのは早計だわ。
Just because Battler happened to be absent today doesn't mean we can be sure he'll never come back.
今日はルドルフが一人でやってき
All
た
this
だ
means
け
is
の
that Rudolph
話。
came alone today. I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could probably look up Asumu Shiramiya's maiden name and find who the hell her family is, and go find Battler if you were like really pressed to do so.
そうとも。
True, true.
また次、おそらくはそのうちヒリエとやらを連れてやってくるであろう。
Of course, he'll be at the next family conference, as energetic as ever. By then, Rudolph will probably bring that Kyrie here too.
その時にはふてくされながらも一緒に来てくれるに決まってい
Battler
る。
may be sulky about it, but I'm certain he'll come as well.
そうですね。
You're right. Yeah,
きっとそうですよね。
I'm sure you're right. How nice would it be if they were right? In fact, if I could, I'd like to flip through the calendar until autumn right now and check to see whether he does come to the next conference. If he does, all my fears are groundless. It would mean the rumor-mongering family members and servants have just blown things out of proportion. If Battler-san was right here, I'd want to question him right away. It isn't true he'll never come to Rockinjima again, right? And then if he said that of course he would come back again, it'd be such a relief. I don't know the phone number for Rudolph-sama's house, but I could probably look it up if I tried. However, as a servant of the family, I have no excuse for making such a call. Listen, I have an easy excuse for you, okay? I'm gonna make one up for you really quickly. Hey, I lent Battler a book. Or I lent Battler a book, or Battler was planning on bringing me a book. Does he know if he's gonna be here? And you know, Rudolph's like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, can you give me Battler's number so I can give him a call? Real quick, it'll be 5 minutes. And thus you're done. You're like, hey, it's Shannon from the Ashiramiya house. I'm looking to talk to Battler because as he was arranging something for this year. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you can be as vague or specific as possible. Or you could just ask Jessica. You could ask Jessica, who's supposedly your friend, how to get in contact with her own fucking cousin. That shouldn't be too hard. Like, hey, Jessica, you know, I know we're best friends and all, but can you ask me how to contact your cousin Battler? Can you just, like, go ask your parents? See if they can get in contact with him? To see what's up, get his perspective on some things, like, you know. I'm sure there's a way. If it's like, oh, you want to talk to your cousin, well, you know, I'm sure we can figure out a way. Even if he's not a big fan of Rudolph, you know, maybe Battler be willing to accept a call from Jessica. Like, I got ways. It's not even that difficult, but oh well. No excuse for making such a call, despite the fact that Jessica's like your best friend. Alright. Anyway, I have no way of knowing the phone number for Battler's grandparents' house. I can't do anything except wait for Rudolph-sama's family to come visit and hope my fears are groundless. I mean, I've already come up with a solution for you, and that's ask Jessica to call Rudolph and ask him for Battler's number. However, will I be able to make it through the day feeling like this? No way. I doubt I'll sleep a wink tonight. Just waiting around, feeling like this when I don't know when my next chance will come. 80s Japan, hierarchy hammered in since Yasuda was 9. Yeah. But I mean, she considers Jessica like her best friend. Just be like, hey, what's Battler's phone number, bro? Like, oh yeah, we used to talk about, it's like we always talk about mystery novels, you know? If he's not going to come to the family conference, well, I want to call him up about those. Like, you don't even need to give a real reason. You just, like, your whole thing is you share mystery novels, and you're like, hey, well, if he's not coming to the conference, you know, I want to talk to him about this novel I just read. Fuck, what's his number? But it is what it is. Okay. I can't do that. I can't wait around. Will it be next month? The month after? In the worst case, I might have to wait until the next family conference. If I have to wait that long while holding back this suffocating feeling, I can't bear it.
Hey,
Shannon. I'd say, if Battler comes back 6 years later and doesn't remember you in the slightest, he probably doesn't like you, so this was probably not a relationship destined to succeed in the first place. So there is that.
唐突に尋ねるけれど、
I would ask this out of the blue.
あなたがした1年後までの決意というのは、この島の使用人を辞めることを決めるだけの決意じゃ
But
ない
when
でし
you
ょう。
made up your mind to do something by the next year, that something wasn't just quitting work as a servant on the island, right?
それは
That's... I made the decision to start a new life. I didn't want to keep on being a servant by force of habit. I made the decision to step into a new life and to leave my old life
そして
as a servant behind.
その決意の日に迎えに来ると、バトラーは約束して
And
くれたんじゃ
Battler
ないか
promised he'd come here on the day of your decision, right?
それははい。
Yes.
わらわは言葉を選ばぬから言おう。
Tact is not one of my strong points. I'll speak
それ
frankly.
はつまり、バトラと共に新しい人生を踏み出そうという決
You've
意では
made
な
the
いの
decision
か。
and resolved yourself to starting a new life with Battler, correct? I don't think that was ever in question here.
バトラさんと
A new life?
新しい人生
That's right, a new life with Battler-san.
そなたは決意の日にバトラが迎えに来てくれないかもしれないと恐れてい
You're
る。
afraid Battler won't come for you on the day of your decision? That does appear to be the case, and does appear to be her concern. Might even be well-founded.
しかし決意の日は
However, there's more to
バ
that
ト
day
ラ
of
が迎え
decision
に来てくれることだけを
than
意味
just
するのでは
Battler
ない
coming
ぞ。
to see you.
あなたがバトラーとこれからの人生を共に歩む決意を示す日でもあるのよ。
It's also the day for you to show that you're determined to spend the rest of your life with him.
その決意はそなたが自らするものだ。
Determination is something you must create for yourself.
バトラがただ来てくれるだけで成し得るものではないぞ
It。won't bear fruit simply because Battler shows up. Okay, I can see that.
シャノン、
Shannon,
あなたにはもうこれからの人生を彼と歩む決意はあるの？
you have the determination now to spend the rest of your life with him?
それがまだないから次の親族会議の日に決心するなんて言ったんでしょ？
You decided to put it off until the next family conference because you didn't have that determination last time, right?
バトラと人生を共に歩むとは
Backfiring,
ど
a
う
bit,
いうこ
isn't
と
it?
なのか。
What does it mean to live life with
そ
Battler?
なたは真剣に考えたことはあるのか。
Have you ever thought about it seriously in detail? Seems like she just resolved herself to do so like 5 minutes after he left.
それは
Well,
その
I don't think she's resolved that. I'm as long as I'm working as a servant on Rakanjima, my opportunities for meeting with him are limited. We're both underage, so it's too early to talk about marriage. That's true. However, if I quit working as a servant, I should have many more opportunities to meet him. Or that might also be true. Once I quit work here, I'll return to the Fukuin house. I have my wages from serving the family, so I should have more than enough to travel to Battler-san's house to play. When I graduate from school, I can rent an apartment near Battler-san's house. Then, well, I can work while going to school. That life would be a lot more difficult than I first thought. However, I'd be able to see Battler-san much more often, if not every day, then every week. I won't be a servant anymore, so there won't be any difference in class. I can call him whatever I want. And I'm already doing both school and work. Thanks to my experience here, I know more than enough to do simple housework.
楽しそうな人生ではないか。
Doesn't that sound like a fun life? Maybe?
ささやかな住まいを借りて自分の城を築けたなら、ぜひバトラを招待するがよい。
You can rent a humble abode, and once you've built up your own home, you can invite Battler. Doesn't seem too bad to me. No, it doesn't.
そうして新しい二人の時間、
Then,
二
the
人の
time
世
you
界
spend
が始ま
together,
っていくのね。
the world the two of you will make will begin.
素敵じゃない。
Doesn't it sound wonderful? Sure, it sounds wonderful.
はい。
Yes.
ちょっと
Does sound a bit
素敵ですよね。
wonderful. Well, if that's all you want to use to describe it, that works too. It was the first time I ever imagined that future clearly. My love for him and my honest desire to live my life with him. Earlier, I was able to consider both of these deeply. However, now that I'm clearly imagining the future I plan to choose, I finally understand. I must be aware of how much determination will be needed to reach that future.
やがては
Your dream of marriage?
結婚だって夢見ちゃってるわけ
Oh,
でし
you
ょ。
dream of marriage eventually, don't you?
ほうほう。
Oh,
結婚前提とは最近の小娘は進んでおるわ。
getting with marriage in mind? That's such a young age.
そこまでは
That's
そ
a
の
bit up.
夢を否定しないで。
Don't deny your dreams, okay?
未来を見据えぬ。目を閉じたままの第一歩に何の意味もないんだから。
There's no point taking a first step in your eye if your eyes are closed and you don't look to the future.
惚れた男なら結婚しちゃったりしてと夢見ても何の罪もないぞ。
Girl's in love with a man, there's nothing wrong with thinking, I want to marry him. Probably not.
それが乙女の特権であるわ。
Whether or not you want to follow through is a different thought, though. It's a young girl's natural, right? My face turned bright red. Earlier, I thought that considering marriage really was a bit premature, so I tried as best I could not to think about it. However, when the witches encouraged me to imagine it, that image was both exciting and vivid. I felt an indescribable feeling of refreshment and awakening, like the gentle breeze that washes over you when you go outside during a brief spot of sunshine on a rainy day. That's right, I didn't actually have the determination to go that far. I needed to strengthen my determination by the time the next family conference comes around. If I can't do that, then sitting around as a servant on this island is no more than I deserve.
そしてそれは同時に試練でもあるのよ。
And at the same time, this is also a trial.
確かに。
True, true.
これは試練であるな。
A trial to overcome.
試練
Trial?
どうしてですか？
What is that?
愚か者め。
Oh, fool.
バトラは次の親族会議に迎えに来るとそなた
Battler
に約
promised
束
he'd
した
come
で
for
は
you
ない
at the
か。
next family conference, did he not?
白馬にまたがって。
He said he'd come on a white horse, right?
ね。
はい。
そなたはバトラがもう来ないと思っている。
You're thinking Battler won't come anymore.
つまりそれは バトラの約束を信じないという
In
こ
other
とでは
words,
な
you
い
have
のか
no faith in Battler's promise.
だから
That's
こ
why
れ
at
は
the
試練な
trial.
のよ。彼を信じて待つというあなたへの試練。
Pass through this trial, you'll have to show you can trust him and wait.
試練
A trial. I hadn't thought of it that way, and you're probably gonna regret that one. Since he promised to come for me in a year, I need to believe he'll come for me in a year, and if I doubt that, I don't have the right to wait for him in the first place.
バトラが後ろ宮そなたとの未来を見据えてのことなのかもしれぬぞ。
Battler might have left the Ushiromiya family because he set his sights on a future with you.
あら、どうして
Why would that be?
二人で暮らし、将来婚姻のちぎりを交わすことまで見通したなら、
If he knows you'll live together and eventually exchange marriage vows.
後ろ宮家の使用人であるシャノンと結ばれるには、後ろ宮の姓が邪魔をす
Having
る
the
こ
name
ともあ
Ushiromiya
る
would
かも
cause
しれない。
problems since Shannon's a servant of the Ushiromiya family. That's fair, I suppose.
ああ、な
I
るほ
see,
ど
I。see.
使用人の娘と結ばれるなんてギャンギャンって言われることを見越して、先に後ろ宮の姓を捨てたっ
He
てわけ
realizes there'll be
ね。
all kinds of trouble if he decides to marry a servant girl, so he abandoned the family name beforehand.
どうだ、シャノン。
What do you think,
これ
Shannon?
ならば全てに
This
筋
way,
は
everything
通る
makes
というもの。バトラが後ろ宮の名を捨てたのは、そなたを考えてのことよ。
Battler abandoned the Ushiromiya name for your
ルドル
sake.
フとの唐突な親子喧嘩は、それをもっともらしくする口実に違いあるまい。
The sudden argument with Rudolph? It was all just an excuse.
素敵な推理だわ。
Splendid
さ
reason.
すがリー
Nice
チェ。
going, Riche.
どうだ、シャノン。
What do you say, Shannon?
落ち込むには値しないではない
There's
か。
no reason to feel
それ
down.
どころか、そなたと結ばれるために、バトラが先に
On the
決意
contrary.
を見せたようなものではないか。
Perhaps it's Battler who's shown his determination first. A smile had finally returned to my face. Of course, I hadn't taken the wishes seriously and let myself be reassured. I was closer to the opposite. It was almost funny they could think up such ridiculously convenient explanations for everything. However, they'd made all those ridiculous theories to cheer me up. The wishes are right when they say I must trust Battler-san, and there's no point in moping because I heard a few rumors. Until the next family conference, I'll strengthen my resolve, and I believe he'll accept my feelings and come for me. The day that Battler left the family so he could be married to me someday, that idea was laughable, of course, but right now I should try and feel confident enough to accept even crazy ideas like that.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
なんだか
I feel
少し気分が楽になりました。
ならばよかった。
good,
そ
good.
なたが悲しみで枕を濡らすのを見るのは耐えら
I
れんの
can't
でな。
stand watching you cry yourself to sleep.
私の夢の中にまでやってきて励ましてくれて
Thanks for
本当に
coming
あり
into
が
my
とう。
dreams to encourage me.
うん。
Indeed.
もうじき朝になる。
It'll be morning
す
soon.
べては夢。
It's all just a
そ
dream.
なたは目覚めれば
You won't
何も
remember
覚え
this,
てはいまい。
any of it when you wake up.
しかし、そなたの心に静
Your
寂
heart
は
will
戻
be
る
at。peace.
はい
Yes.
私は彼を
Believe in
信
him
じて
and wait.
待つ。だから小さな噂話になんか
I won't listen to
耳
every
を貸
little
さないん
rumor.
です。
そうだ。
Good, good.
次の親族会議まで自分を磨きながら待つのだ。
Wait until the next conference while improving yourself.
花嫁修行と思えば、日々のつまらぬ雑事も彩りを帯びよ
If you
う。
think of it as training to become a wife, all of your everyday chores will grow more meaningful.
本当にありがとう。
Thanks a lot.
リーチェ、
Riche.
もう朝に
It'll
な
be
るわ
morning soon.
そうか。
Is that so? Where's my name?
それではさらばだ、シャノン。
So long, Shannon.
そなたはわらわを覚えてはいまい。
You may not remember
しか
me,
し、わらわはいつもそなたのそばにいて、
but I'll always be by your
そな
side
たを
watching
見
over
守
you.
っているぞ。
ありがとう。
Thank
あ
you.
りがとう。
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And we wake up the next day.
次
Or
の
is it
親
just-
族会議など瞬く間よ。
The next family conference will be here in a flash. Start sweating nervously.
のんびりと待つがよい。
Wait for it at your leisure. Is that going to be a new chapter?
必ず。 バトラーは約束を守るのだから。
Battler will certainly keep his promise. One year later. Ichinengo? He did not, in fact, keep his
はじめ
promise.
まして。
There's Kyrie and no Battler, surprising nobody. Pleased to meet
キ
you.
リエと申します。
My name is Kyrie.
よろしくお願いいたします。
I can hope we can all become quick friends.
名前だけならアスムさんより前から知ってるわ。
I've known your name longer than I've known Asumu-san.
ルドルフの昔からのガールフレンド。
I hear you're Rudolph's old girlfriend.
ええ。ご縁は随分になりますので。
We've known each other for quite a long time.
後ろ宮家へようこそ。
Welcome to the Ashirmiya
当
family.
家に早く馴染まれることを期待します。
I hope you find it easy to grow comfortable here. These family conferences are anything but comfortable.
はい。
Yes.
私も早く慣れて、夫をサポートできるようになろうと思います。
I'd like to go comfortable quickly so I can support my husband.
それにしても可愛いお嬢ちゃんや。
But look how cute that little
名
girl
前
is.
はなんて
What's her
言うん
name?
や？
エンジェちゃんですって。
This is Enche-chan.
可愛らしい名前ね。
Cute name.
やはり仲直りはできなかったのかね。
You couldn't make up after all.
よりを戻すならこの機会と思ったんだがな。
I thought this would be the perfect chance to bring him back,
親
but
父に似て頑
he's
固な
as
やつで
stubborn as dad.
もうバトラ君は帰ってこないの？
Will Badler-kun ever come?
寂しくなるわ。
I'll miss him.
男には家を飛び出す気概くらいやってもいいもんや。
Nothing wrong with a man having enough backbone to find his own way in the world.
そういう男はな、きっとビッグになって帰ってくるで。
I'm sure I'll have made it big by the time he comes back.
そう？
You think so?
バトラ君にとってもう今のお家はお家じゃないもの。
Right now his home isn't home for him.
帰る場所はもはやそこじゃないわ。
The place he comes home to now is somewhere else.
吉田前、
Enough.
ルドルフの家の都合だ。
This concerns Rudolph's family only.
私たちが詮索することでは
It's
ない。
not our place to meddle.
ありがとう、クラウス兄さん。
Thanks, Krasny-san.
それは私たち家族の問題です。
An issue for our family alone. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How welcoming would you want to be to Kyrie? She's the girlfriend. She's the girlfriend that your brother cheated on his actual wife with, and then he immediately married the minute she freaking died. I'd be like, dude, you're I don't know, Kyrie, man. They're being nice and welcoming, and I'd just be like, I don't know about this, man. I don't know about that. I'd be like, especially because they already had a relationship. I'd just be like, dude, I don't know about this chick. Ugh. I wouldn't be super friendly at any rate. I wouldn't be super rude, but I probably wouldn't be really friendly. I'd just be like, okay, nice to meet you. I will now proceed to ignore you. As clearly Kyrie knew what was going on. You know, it's one thing to be like, oh, so you're the person that Rudolph was cheating on his wife with. And she's like, oh, I didn't know that. It's entirely another to be like, ah, you've known Rudolph for longer than he's known Asumu. And you had a relationship the whole time? Yeah? So you knew he was married from square one? Ah, interesting.
でも、バトラ君がルドルフさんと一緒に暮らせる日が来るよう。
However,
私
I
も努
intend to
力
do all
を
I
するつも
can
り
to
で
see
す。
that Battler-kun and Rudolph-san can live together again someday. That said, Kyrie seems cool otherwise.
だって、エンジェのたった一人のお兄ちゃんなんですか
After
ら。
all, he's NJ's one and only big brother.
ああ、
Yeah.
バトラめ、意固地になっちまってて 今は何を言っても逆効果だ。
When that kid gets stuck on something, anything you say to him will have the opposite effect. Yeah, remember from episode 3, Kyrie was going with Rudolph, then he got Asumu pregnant, so he married her. Oh, I remember. I remember that's exactly how it went. And Kyrie was also pregnant, but since Asumu announced her pregnancy first, Kyrie got the short end of the stick. I remember that. I haven't forgotten.
Asumu のお父さんがちょっと短気な人でな。
Asumu's father has a bit of a short
焚き
temper.
つけちまってるみたいでな。
Looks like he's been adding fuel to the fire.
大丈夫よ。
I'd be
きっと
fine.
遠くないうちにルドルフさんの気持ちを理解してくれるわよ。
I'm sure he'll understand your feelings before too long.
わしらには応援しかできん。
Well, we can't do anything except cheer you on.
仮に帰ってこないにしても、はよう仲直りできるのを祈っとるで。
We're all praying that the two of you will make up quickly.
バトラが来ないとなんだかつまらねえぜ。
Yeah, see, I wouldn't, I don't know how I'd want to treat Kyrie, and I don't know if I want to treat her warmly, but I mean, the only reason I wouldn't be treating Rudolph exceptionally coldly all the time is because I'm obligated to be around him because he's family. I'd be like, man, this guy's garbage. But then again, I think if this was my family, and I thought they were all complete trash, I'd actually just avoid them except for the conferences. I'd just be like, yeah, I'll show up to conferences only because I'm there to talk to dad, and everything else, fuck off. Half this family, I'd just be like, nah, nope, not even going it. Not going here, nope, just fuck off. You call me up and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm busy, sorry, bye. It's a bit boring though, Battler.
そうだね。
Yep.
早くルドルフおじさんと仲直りしてくれればいいのに。
I hope he and Uncle Rudolph can make up soon.
バトラ様の気持ちを考えると辛いです。
Think about how Battler-sama feels. It must have hurt.
急に家族が変わっちまったようなもんだしな。
His family basically got swapped around.
家が居心地悪いってのもあるだろうぜ。
He probably doesn't feel comfortable at home anymore.
男にはいつか独り立ちしなければならない日もある。
All men need to go out on their own, one day or another.
バトラ君にとってはもうそれが訪れたという話な
Might
のか
just
も
be
しれ
that
ない。
Battler-kun's time has come.
そうなのですか？
Do you think so?
そうさ。
I do.
男がいつまでも両親のもとでぬくぬく
It's
して
not
いたら
cool for a guy to hang out around his parents for too
荒
long.
々しく巣を飛び出して一肌あげなくちゃいけな
Gotta
い。
leave the nest in a flurry and make your name in the world.
僕もやがてはと思ってたけど彼に先を越されてしまったよ。
I plan to do it eventually, but it looks like he's gone and done it first.
一旗あげて立派になったら帰ってきてくれるのでしょうか？
When he makes his name in the world and becomes a great man, he'll come back.
ひょっとしたらもう帰ってこないこともあるかもしれない
Maybe
ね。
he never comes back.
だってこれは彼にとって巣立ちなのかもしれないのだから。
Girl, this might be leaving the nest to him.
巣立ち。
Leaving the nest? No amount of copium's getting you through this, Shannon. Other than he might come back next year.
来なかったわね。
Battler didn't come, did he?
ああ、なんということだ。
That's terrible. I kept telling Shannon he was sure to
きっ
come.
とシャノンはバトラが来なくて深く落ち込んでいるに違
I'm
い
sure
な
she's
い。
upset over Battler's absence.
わらわがいい加減なことを言って希望を持たせてしまう。
親族会議の今日を張り合いに生きてきたようなもん
She's
だ
been
し、ね、
looking forward to
彼
this
女
day.
の気持ちを考え
It
ると
pains me to think of how she
心が
must
痛む
feel.
わ。
ありがとうございます。
Thanks, you two.
私は大丈夫です。
I'm okay. Yes, I think Kyrie and Rudolph are people I would interact with out of obligation rather than anything else. Kraus is kind of a bit of an asshole, But I don't think he's done anything. I mean, until it turns out he's like embezzling money from grandfather. I don't think he's done anything too shady before that. And Rosa, I mean, I kind of feel bad for her husband leaving her, but she does like beat up Maria all the time, which is kind of wrong. I'd just feel sorry for Maria. You know, I'd be at this conference and I'd be like, I'm gonna go play games with Maria, okay? You guys suck. I'm gone. Or I'll be in my room reading a book or something exciting. Be like, nah, I don't give a fuck about this money, piss off. I've been reunited with the witches once again in that dream world, though I could never remember anything during the day. Now that I was in the dream world, I somehow knew this was a reunion. Had George thinking, oh no, Battler's not coming back to get together with Shannon. Wow, whatever will we, or I do. An opportunity. Yeah, George smells an opportunity while Battler is absent. Because in his own narrative, he's liked Shannon since the year before, right? The witches both looked apologetic. Though they had tried to cheer me up by saying Battler would come today, now that he hadn't come, it was like they were lying and they seemed to regret it heavily.
Shannon.
Shannon?
そのもう
Well,
お気遣いをありがとうございます。
thank you for your concern.
悲しくなんかないと言えば、もちろん嘘になりますけれど、
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't
私
sad.
は
But I'll be okay.
大丈夫ですから。
そうか
Are you sure?
そうなのか
Really sure?
ならば良いのだ
That'd
が
be splendid, but
バトラのやつ派手に喧嘩したもんだからきっと引っ込みがつかなくなっちゃっただけに決まってる
clearly
わ
Battler's fight was so over the top he couldn't bring himself to back down so soon.
男は意地っ張りだもの
Men are so stubborn. Oh, you went from their fights are short and over quickly to they're very stubborn. That was a quick turn.
そうであるとも
That was a quick heel turn. Alright, yeah, that's
威
true.
勢のいいこと言って飛び出したものだから今さら引っ込みがつかなくなって意地になってしまっただけに違いあるまい
Yeah, tried to act tough before running away, so his stubbornness is preventing him from taking back what he said so easily.
きっと来ればよかったと後悔しているはずだ
He'll probably regret not coming today.
そうとも
That must be it.
そうであるとも
For some reason, they seemed nearly desperate in their attempts to encourage me. It was almost funny to watch. Almost like your internal monologue. Internalized as two witches. I couldn't help but giggle. How hard I was coping at things. Oh, sorry.
本
Said
当
that part out
に
loud.
ありがとうございます。
Thanks a lot, you two.
だって言ったのは皆さんじゃないですか。
After all, you're the ones who told me in the
こ
first
れ
place.
は試練だって。
The test, a trial to be overcome. The truth was, I couldn't really fool myself so easily. When will he come back? When will he come for me? When isn't the question. Will he come for me ever? If I start moping right now, the uncertainty and sadness will probably tear me apart, but they've taught me. This is a trial to see whether I really believe in him or not. The fact that I feel uncertain and anxious is a betrayal of my resolve, and of his promise to come for me someday.
ジョージ様が言ってました。
George said something about
こ
it.
れはバトラさんの巣立ちかもしれないって。
Said this might be the same as leaving the nest for Battler.
そうよ
Right.
これは後ろ宮の姓を抜け出て一人の男として羽ばたくという巣立
To
ちな
leave
んだ
behind the Ashiromiya name and spread his wings as his own man.
よくよく考えれば私たちはまだ若いんですし、
I mean, if you think about it, we're still very young. That's true.
本当に結ばれようと思ったらまだまだ社会的経験も信用も何より年齢が足りません。
And if we want to be tied together, we're still lacking many years of social experience and trust. Also true?
バトラさんが本当に真剣に考えてくださったならばこそまだ迎えに来られるわけがないんです。
As this series is based on copium, so too is Shannon's belief in Battler based entirely on copium. This whole series is pure copium. Clearly they did it X-way. Clearly it wasn't magic they did this. And now we're back here with Shannon, huffing as much copium as humanly possible. Yeah, if he's taking this seriously, it's too soon for him to come for me now. He's taking this ultra seriously. He needs the experience, the abilities.
見事であるぞ。
Well done. You've convinced yourself Battler will come for you in the next few years. That's the
その
right
域である
attitude.
ぞ。
When Battler next appears, he'll
よく
save
ぞ
you.
その境地に達した。
You've done well to reach this understanding.
達せてなんか
I
いま
haven't
せん。
reached anything. I'm just
で
coping.
も今はそう思うことにします。
However, I decided to think of it that way for
そ
now.
れが試練でバトラさんを信じるということなんですから。
It's a trial to see whether I trust Battler-san or not. If he had come today, then I would have had to tell Madam I wanted to quit my job as the servant today. However, was I really prepared to do that? Last night, I kept worrying about whether Battler-san would come or not. Thanks to that, not only did I not have the resolve to quit my job, I hadn't even started on the paperwork to do so. In short, I still don't have the determination I promised him that day. I'm sure God knew that. Battler will come for me when I've found my determination. I wasn't determined, so it's only natural he didn't come today. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
だから
So?
きっとバトラさんがいらっしゃらなかったのは私の決意がまだだったからです。
I'm sure Battler-san didn't come today because I wasn't determined enough.
彼が来てくれるかをしっかりと信じることもできな
It's
かった
only
私
natural
で
since I
は
couldn't even
それ
truly
も
believe
当
he'd
然
come.
ですね。
おそらくバトラもそうであったに違いない
I'm
ぞ。
sure Battler was the same way.
そ
Uh-huh.
なたを迎えに行くだけの決意や覚悟が
He didn't
まだ
yet
まだ足りなかったに違い
have
な
the
い。
determination and resolve to come for you, and that's why he didn't show up today. Uh-huh.
神様は薄情じゃないわ。
God is not
二人の
heartless.
気持ちが本当に近づいた時、
When your feelings
必
truly do
ず
draw
二人を引
close,
き合わせてくれるわ。
I'm sure it'll bring the two of you together. Me sitting here like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
織姫と彦星のようにな。
Just like Orihime and Hikoboshi.
今年の七夕はたまたま天気が悪かった。
Yeah, it's as though the weather happened to be bad during this year's Tanabata and keeping those lovers apart for another year. Yeah, yeah.
今日のことはその程度に思おうと思います。
That's how I'd like to think about what happened today. That's how I'd like to think about it. I have no other choice. Battler-san. Batora-san. Batora?
でもバトラ君が帰ってく
The
るのは
Battler didn't come back for
6年後の話だ。
6
だいぶ
years.
先の話になる。
A long way to go until then.
このままこんな辛い気持ちのまま
You had to
6
wait
年も
6 whole
待ち
years
続けるというので
feeling
す
like
か。
that? Yep.
来年こそは来年こそはと毎年待ちわびるのは
When one waits every year for something to happen the next, and then the same thing the next year and the next,
それはもう
痛々しい
it
話ね。
becomes the same as waiting for an eternity. Pathetic, don't you
あな
think?
たがしたと思ってる約束を当のバトラは全く意識していなかったようだし。
After all, this promise you thought you made with Battler seems to be something he knew nothing about, right?
バトラ君はルドルフおじさんに似てキザな言い回しを好むこともありました。
Battler does tend to use melodramatic phrases, just like Uncle Rudolph.
そんな言い回しが誤解を与えたのかも。
His roundabout way of putting things might have led to a misunderstanding.
バトラはきっといつか後ろから女に刺されるわね。
Some girl's gonna stab Battler in the back someday, and he might just deserve it.
まあつまりこれはそういう物語なわけかしら。
I guess that's more or less what this tale is.
言葉は意味が宿れば人の人生を左右することだってある。
When words can mean different things, they can turn a person's life upside
軽
down.
率な言葉は人を殺せるかもしれねえ。
There are times when careless talk costs lives. I mean, Willard's not wrong. I don't think I can currently disagree with him. Right, what's next? We go into the next chapter? Actually, it'd probably be the
第
lead
7
into
章恋の目
Root
恋
of
の目
Love, Root of Love. 1 year later. 4 years until the incident in 1982. What now? Are we gonna have our paperwork ready this time?
ですよね。
Seriously?
男ってどうして群れるとバカばっかになるんでしょうね。
Why do guys turn into total morons when they get together? Jessica's room was filled with laughter.
なんつうかさ、幻
It was one
滅する
hell
わ
of
けだぜ。
a reality
ちょっ
check.
と大人びててかっこいいかなって思った人がさ、
I thought this guy was a bit cool, a bit
ク
adult-like.
ラスの男どもで群れてる時にゲビタ話して下品な声で笑ってるの
And then
見ちゃうとさ、
I see him with some of the other guys in our class talking about dirty stuff with his creepy laugh.
確かに男同士でいる時の男の方ってすごい子供っぽいですものね。
It's true, boys always act like little kids when they're together.
まあそれを言ったら女も同じような
Not
もん
like
ですけど。
girls are any different. Alright, the fun chat between girls continued without end. Tonight, Kraus and Natsuhi were out late at a meeting on Nijima. Most of the time, Natsuhi was always watching, so Jessica would always make sure to be curt with the young servants. But when Natsuhi wasn't around, Jessica never did that. She invited similar servants, servants of similar age to her room, and they were chatting away noisily. At that age, everyone wants to know about love. Thanks to the rigid and constricting way Jessica had been brought up, she enjoyed talking about it all the more.
お嬢様だって素敵だし、お年頃だし。
You're incredible. You're pretty incredible, milady, and you're that age.
気になる男の子がいらっしゃるんじゃないですか？
Are there any boys you're interested in?
恋はしてえけど気になる男子ってな
Well, I'd like to fall in love, but there aren't really any good ones around.
お嬢様はもっと恋に積極的でもいいと思うんです。
I think you should be more proactive about
余
it.
裕ぶってられるのも今のうちですよ。
You can act all relaxed now, but it's not gonna last long,
友
okay?
人の誰かが付き合いだしたなんてことになったら急に世界がひっくり返りますよ。
Once one of your friends starts going out with someone, it'll turn your world upside down.
そんなわけねえじゃん。
There's no way that happens.
私の友達に裏切り者はいねえぜ。
None of my friends are traitors.
多分
I think. That was
あ
a
あ
maybe.
ダメダメ。
That wasn't even I think. That was a maybe. Oh, no,
女
no,
の
no.
友情で一番信用ができないのが恋の出し抜きです。
Yeah, break of love is the one time you can't rely on friendship between girls.
お嬢様だって素敵な人と知り合ったら絶対友人なんて裏切って付き合っちゃいますって。
If you met someone you liked, you'd betray your friends and go out with the guy without a second thought, wouldn't you? Well,
シャノンはどうなんだよ。
you, Shannon.
私ばっかりでずるいぜ。シャノンも話せよ。
It's not fair if I'm the only one who has to talk.
私はそういう方が身近におり
I
ませんし。
don't have anyone like that around? Not around. He's far away, and like Oruhime and Hikiboshi, I don't get to see him very often. In fact, I don't even know when I'll be able to see him again. However, I believe he'll come for me someday. And I believe it.
シャノンは裏切るなよ。
Don't you betray me, okay, Shannon?
彼氏作るなら一緒だぜ。
If we get boyfriends, we'll get them together, you got it? Right?
約束したもんな。
We promised, right?
ああ、シャノンちゃんみたいな子に
Well,
限
you
っ
may not
て
believe it,
案外早く一抜けしちゃうもんですよ。
but it's not at all rare for girls just like Shannon Chan to get a head start.
シャノン、白状しろ。
Shannon, confess.
本当に付き合ってるやつはいないよな。
You aren't going out with anyone, are you?
なあなあ。
Right, right?
いませんよ。
I'm not
本当です。
really. She's right, though. She's not really.
本当に？
Really? Really?
本当です。
Really?
私たち恋人作るのは一緒だからね。
We'll get boyfriends together,
絶
okay?
対、絶
No matter what
対だ
happens.
ぜ。
Okay.
嘘ついたら針千本のませ。
Anyone who lies has to eat porcupine fish? Okay.
は
Yeah,
い、約束します。
I promise.
それは嘘をついてる顔ですよ。
Now there's the face of a liar.
絶対この中でシャノンちゃんが一抜けする。
Willing to be Chan Chan beats everyone else in the room.
私にはわかるんです。
I can tell.
奥手そうな子がいつもみんなを出し抜くんです。
Always the quiet ones that go first.
なんだよこの野郎。
Shannon, how could you?
白状しろ、白状しろ。
Confess, confess.
お許しください、お嬢様。
Please stop, Milady. It tickles. And so another Sunday afternoon passed by. I worked my way out of the fight and looked up at the sky through the window. Is Battler-san happily chatting away with his friends somewhere right now, just like I am? As I think of you like this, are you thinking of me? But if I ask that, it's the same as admitting I don't trust you. I'll wait. And when you do come for me, I'll announce then and there that I'm quitting my job. I've already prepared myself to do so, but you haven't come yet. It isn't because you won't come, but because I'm not determined enough yet, right? Right? It's because I haven't clearly envisioned a future with you, right? I'll wait. No matter how long. Until you come for me riding a white horse. I'll always treasure our promise, the promise of our precious resolve.
男と約束なんかしちゃダメです。
Never make a promise with a guy.
当てになりませんって。
You can't count on them. Thinking she read my mind, I spun around. Of course she hadn't, but...
やっぱその辺さ。
Well, for stuff like that...
男と女で価値観ってかなり違うと思うんだよ。
Girls and guys have different ideas of what's important.
違います違います。
That's not it.
全
You got it all
然
wrong.
違いますって。
Oh?
基本的に女の子は夢見がちで、男は何も考えてなくて適当って感じです。
On the whole, girls tend to be dreamers and guys do stuff without thinking.
異性同士で心を通わせるってやっぱ無理なのかな。
I guess understanding between the sexes is pretty much impossible after all.
相当難しいと思いますね。
At least, I think it's pretty hard.
女はすぐに相手のことが分かったような気になっちゃう悪癖がありますから。
Girls often have the bad habit of thinking they know exactly what the guy's thinking right away.
男の言う特に深い意味のない言葉にいちいち何かを感じてしまって。
They search for hidden meanings behind words the guys say for no reason in
勝手
particular.
に勘違いしちゃう
They
っ
just
て
get the wrong
結構
idea.
ありますから。
ああ、いるいるそういう子。
Yeah, I've known girls like
傍
that.
目に見てどう見ても大したこと言われてないのに一方的に彼は私に気があるとか言っちゃってる子。
Those girls who hear something that anyone else could tell was trivial, but it means the guy's totally into them and that's what they
いる
think.
いるいるいる。
I see it all the time. Poor Shannon, huffing so much copium she thinks this isn't relevant to her.
女の一方的な勘違いって痛々しいですもんね。
It's a bit sad when a girl gets the wrong idea for no reason. The pair of them laugh together. When a girl gets the wrong idea. Oh wait, is Shannon thinking this applies to her and that's why she kind of starts something with George? Could that be me? Damn it. I was thinking she'd be huffing copium for at least another year. Too bad. No, it can't be. After all, Battler clearly made a promise. He said he'd come for me riding a white horse. I mustn't doubt. I'm sure this conversation I'm hearing is just another one of God's trials, so I won't listen. I won't care about it.
勝手に心が通じたとか思っちゃう痛い女の子にだけはなりたくねえぜ。
If there's one thing I never want to be, it's one of those poor girls who thinks a guy's heart is linked to hers for no reason. Those demonic sneers tormented me and tried to lead me astray. I'm sure he'll come to the next family conference. But Battler-san didn't appear at the 1982 conference either. Bit by bit, things were changing from the way they'd been at the last family conference he'd come to. Everyone had gotten used to Kirie-sama, Rudolph-sama's new wife, and she came off the boat with a familiar stride. Her daughter NJ-sama was growing well, and all the family focused their attention on her. Even Maria-sama, though she was still tiny, was already 5 years old. She was full of energy and old enough to enjoy playing with George-sama. Jessica-sama and George-sama had already stopped talking about Battler-san's absence. It was the same with the other relatives too. No one touched on the subject as though they'd forgotten Battler-san was missing. Maria-sama had only been there 3 when she'd last seen Battler-san. It was doubtful whether she even remembered him. In just 2 years, all trace of your existence has been erased from the Ashiromiya family conference. It made me sad. And so?
今年もバトラ様はお帰りになられませんでしたね。
It looks like Battler-san didn't come back this year either.
そうだね。
True, true.
彼が来なくて寂しいかい？
Feeling a bit lonely?
それはその
That's...
ルドルフおじさんたちも彼の話を切り出さないし。
Rudolph and Uncle Rudolph and Aunt Kyrie don't even bring him up anymore.
どうやら僕たちが思ってたよりもずっとバトラ君は本気だったみたいだね。
Looks like Battler was much more serious about it than we thought.
あいつ本気でもう帰ってこねえのかな。
I wonder if he really will stay away forever.
やっぱりあれは巣立ちだったんだよ。
Looks like that was him leaving the nest after all.
彼は新しい人生のステージに向かって羽ばた
Spread
いて
his
いった。
wings, left for a new stage of life.
そういうことじゃないのかな。
Don't you think so?
無鉄砲のはちゃめちゃなやつだったけど。
He's always been crazy and reckless.
ま、男ってのはそういうもんなのかもしれねえぜ。
Oh, what more do you expect from a guy?
彼のことだからね。
No, Battler-kun.
新しい生活もきっと順応して楽しく元気にやっていると思うよ。
I'm sure he's adapted to his new life and is enjoying himself.
だから心配しなくていいと思うよ。
I don't think there's any reason to worry. When George-sama said that with a smile, I felt a bit uncertain. What does he mean by there's no reason to worry? I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
バトラのことだから私たちのことなんかケロッと忘れて楽しくやってるんだろうぜ。
This Battler we're talking about, you can be sure he's forgotten all about us and is having a great time.
うん、きっとそうだよ。
I'll bet he
そして
is.
僕はそれが一番だと思うな。
And I think that's for the best. George thinking, is this my shot? This is my shot.
バトラ君は自分と家族、そして亡くなったお母さんのことを考えて
Thinking for
新
himself,
しい
his
生き方
family,
を
his
自
late
ら
mother.
選択した。
Bandler decided on his own to find a new life.
ならその新しい人生にまっすぐに生きてほしいね。
So I hope he lives that new life to the fullest.
後ろ宮家のことなんて忘れてしまうくらいがちょうどいいよ。
If he forgets about the Ashiromiya family, well, that's just perfect. George-sama smiled at me as though expecting me to agree. After a moment of shock, I smoothed my expression over and found the expression he was expecting. Is Battler-san living happily? Having forgotten about the family, about me? About our promise? It can't be true, it just can't be. Battler-san must be looking forward to the day of decision just like me. The day of decision. But I'm not mistaken about that, right? He promised me, he said he'd come riding a white horse. I never asked him to say that. He said he'd come for me on the day I resolved myself to live life for his sake. Guess you just don't have enough resolve. He made that promise himself. For 2 years. 2 years now I've believed that. I've done all I could to make it through God's trials and the whisperings of demons that tried to throw me from my path. Not easy, is it? And yet the things both George-sama and Jessica-sama are saying are so cruel. Battler-san has forgotten about us? And has started a new life? He's abandoned us? He's moved on? Just can't be. Why are they telling such lies? Lies. Should have watched House. Oh, too early for you. But that night, I dreamed of Battler-san for the first time in a long while. The battler in my dream wasn't the battler I believed in. It was the Battler-san that George-sama and Jessica-sama had spoken of. The one who forgot everything and started a new life. Morning. I woke up with a tear-stained face. The face I saw in the mirror cried and told me I couldn't wait any longer. If I've managed to wait this long, why can't I wait any longer? This is a trial. So we must believe in him and wait. But the me in the mirror spoke. It was sharper than a fragment of glass. I talk about this promise with him, but did we ever actually make such a promise? Wasn't Jessica-sama talking about it, that some girls are dreamers who get the wrong idea? Wasn't George-sama talking about that too? He said that Battler-san had gotten used to his new life and forgot about the Ishiromiya family. By now, he isn't the only one who's forgotten. Unless I ask about it, everyone on the island seems to have forgotten his name. Even Rudolph doesn't say his name anymore. If I weren't here to remember his face, why, perhaps his very existence would be erased from everyone's hearts. I don't believe it. So I won't doubt. Battler-san must still remember his promise. We're both waiting for the day of decision. The day we'll be together. Battler-san. I've firmly made up my mind. Does the fact you're not here mean that after all I'm not determined enough? No. It's because you and God are testing me, right? It's all a test of faith? In that case, I'll endure until that promised day inevitably comes. Feeling for Shannon right now. Not sure I'm feeling murder, but I'm feeling for Shannon. So please. Battler-san. I want some proof you haven't forgotten about me. It was the crack that ran across my ceramic-like heart. I had to acknowledge it now. Maybe that I'm pretending not to notice something terrifying and sad. Battler-san makes me yearn for him. Battler-san makes me sad. He makes it hurt. Battler-san. Do you still remember me now? Should I ask Shannon to try and contact him? Jesus Christ. Was it that hard? 1983, 3 years before the incident. Oh boy. Looks like we haven't made any progress, have we, Shannon? Oh. And then came the third family conference since Battler left. Doesn't look like it's getting any better, does it? If the number of beds was going to increase, we would have been told about that when setting up. The fact that nothing's changed in particular means he probably won't be here this year either. Clinging onto a final bit of hope, I stood by the docks watching the boat draw closer.
Yo,
シャノンちゃん。
Hey, Shannon Chan.
今年もべっぴんだね。
You're looking pretty as ever.
ほら、エンジェ。
Careful, Enche.
足元に気をつけて。
Watch your step. Are we gonna sprite for like 2-year-old Enche?
いやあ、シャノン。やっぱり六軒島はいいね。
Shannon. Hey, Shannon. I really do love Rockin' Shima.
早く、クラウスおじさんもリゾート化すればいいのに。
I can't wait for Uncle Kraus to turn it into a resort.
しなくていいわよ。
There's no need for that.
もったいないわ。
It'd be such a waste.
それもそうね。
Ah, you got a point there.
お久しぶりね、シャノンちゃん。
Hello, how have you been, Shannon Chan?
背、ちょっと伸びたんじゃない？
Gotten a bit taller since last time.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
今年もいい天気や。
And the weather's good again this year.
こうして親族誰一人欠けることなく元気に揃うのは実にめでたいことや。
It's so great having every single member of the family together all nice and cheerful.
それでは皆様、お屋敷にご案内いたします。
Please allow me to guide you to the mansion. So after all, Battler has been so thoroughly forgotten he may not have existed in the first place. I'm sure this sadness will show on my face. Not wanting anyone to see it, I turned my back to the family and led the way up to the mansion by myself. And then suddenly someone mentioned Battler-san's name and I jumped.
バトラ君に会ったんですか？
You saw Battler-kun?
元気にしてました？
How's he doing?
ええ、
Yeah.
元気だったわ。
He's doing very well.
先日、エンジェを連れてちょっとだけお茶をしてきたの。
NJ and had some tea with him the other day. I was surprised. The Kirie-sama is in touch with Battler-san. According to her, both Battler and Rudolph-sama had long since calmed down after their fight, but were both so stubborn they hadn't found a good chance to make up. And since Battler-san had gotten used to living with his grandparents and going to school there, considering those grandparents might make things even more difficult, going to convince Battler-san to come home wasn't easy.
仕方ないわよ。
Ah, it's too
バト
bad.
ラ君よりアスムさんのご両親の方がお怒りだったと思うもの。
I think Asumu-san's parents were even more angry than Battler-kun was.
もうこの喧嘩はバトラ君とルドルフさん2人だけのものじゃなくなってる。
It isn't just an issue between Battler-kun and Rudolph-san anymore.
じゃあ、バトラーはそのうち帰ってくるんですか？
Battler becoming back anytime soon?
ルドルフさんと仲直りはするけれど、後ろ宮家に帰ってくるつもりはないみたい。
He'll make up with Rudolph-san, but it doesn't look like he intends to return to the Ishiramiya
仕
family.
方ないわ。
It's a
気
shame.
持ちもわかるもの。
I understand how he feels, though. It was a bit of a relief to hear some of the bad feelings had died down in these 3 years. If we take Asumu-san's parents into account, it's no surprise things haven't gone as well as they could. Yeah, I can see that. But if Battler doesn't hate Rudolph-sama anymore, then someday, surely he'll come back. He'll have grown so much. My resolve won't waver anymore. For some nights, these past 3 years, I've felt sad and resentful, but now it feels as though these 3 years were something I needed. After all, the seeds of love, the faint feelings I once had for you, have budded powerfully, waiting for the day we'll be reunited. And this is how honest my feelings for you are now. I love you. I want to see you again as soon as I can. Until that time, I'll keep that bud of love warm and growing for you. I won't doubt the coming of that day anymore. Just as I think of you under the same sky, I believe you're thinking of me. I'm sure this news about him is a sign that God's cheering me on, so I asked God one more time inside my heart, since my feelings for Battler-san have not wavered for a day these past 3 years, let me know he feels the same way. I know asking for that's a sin. However, now that we've reached a 3-year turning point, I want some gift from God, any gift to show that I haven't waited in vain. That's what I prayed.
そうだ。
Oh, that's right.
バトラ君とみんなもずいぶん長く会ってないでしょ？
It's been so long since Battler-kun saw you
みんな
already.
も寂しがってるだろうから手紙を書きなさいって言って
I thought you might be feeling lonely, so I told them to write you letters.
書かせてきたのよ。
Here they are. Huh? Did God really hear my prayers? I felt as though my heart was going to leap out of my chest.
バトラーからの手紙？
Oh, a letter from Battler?
へえ。
Awesome.
あいつ何を書いたんだろう？
What do you write? What do you write?
彼の近況でも書かれてるのかな。
Did he say anything about how he's been doing
楽しみ
lately?
だね。
I can't wait to read it. Kirie-sama pulled a brown envelope out of her bag and handed it to George-sama. Just one? When George opened it, several folded letters came out.
これは僕宛てみたいだね。
Looks like this one's addressed to me.
一枚一枚宛
They all
先
have
が
different
違う
names
みた
on
い
them.
だ。はい、こっちはジェシカちゃん。
This one's yours, Jessica-chan?
Thank you!
Thank you!
これは
And
マ
this
リア
one's
ちゃんにだって。
for Maria?
読めるかな？
Can she even read yet?
後で読んで聞かせるわ。
I'll read it to her
あ
later.
りがとう。
Thank you.
エンジェちゃん宛てもあるよ。
There's even one for NJ-chan?
さすがにまだ読めないよね。
Now, of course, she can't read.
読めるようになったら
I'll give it
渡
to
す
her
こと
when
に
she
するわ。
learns.
こっちは元気で楽しくやってる
He
ぜ。
says he's doing great and having a
だってさ。
blast. Shannon, meanwhile, just sitting here like, do I get a letter? Do I get a letter? Where's my fucking letter? Where's my letter? Sorry, where's my letter? When do I get my letter? When does George announce that I'm getting a letter? And then she gets impatient and is like, where's my fucking letter?
ならよかったぜ。
Good for him. Or maybe she just copes hard and is like, maybe it's gonna be the next one. Maybe it's gonna be the next one. There aren't any more. There aren't any more. Oh God, what?
それで
Is that
全部ですか？
all of them?
うん。
Yep.
これで全部みたいだね。
Looks like that's all of them.
ありがとう。
Thanks a lot. George-sama handed me the empty envelope. Apparently he thanked me because he thought I was offering to throw it away for him. And clearly there was nothing inside it. There was no letter for me.
おやおや、
Oh.
文面を見る限り、バトラ君はずいぶん元気に過ごしてるみたいだ
The more
ね。
I read, the more fun it looks like Badler-kun's
毎
been
日が
having.
充実してるってさ。
Living every day to the
私の
fullest.
方にもそう書いてある。
That's what it looks like in mine too.
楽しく過ごせてるなら、そりゃ結構なことだぜ。
If he's happy, I guess that's what counts.
バトラ君たらひどいわね。
So mean of
キリ
Badler-kun.
エさんに手紙を書けと促されるまで私たちのことを忘れてたそうよ。
Seems like he forgot about us until you told him to write those letters, Kirie-san.
バトラ君らしいでしょ。
Well, you know what he's like.
ずいぶん生活が充実してたみたい。
Sounds like he's living life to the
学校
fullest.
では女の子にモテモテみたいよ。
I hear he's popular with the ladies at school too.
へえ、それはすごいね。
バトラ
Incredible.
は変に気ざったらしくて笑えるとこがあるから、そういうの好きな子もいるだろうな。
Could be plenty of girls who like those hilarious melodramatic
納
lines of his.
得だぜ。
Makes sense to me.
後ろ宮家へ帰ってくるつもりはないのかしらね。
I wonder if he really does plan not to return to the Ishiromiya
な
family.
いみたいだね。
Well, it looks like
僕
it.
の方に六軒島に行くことはもうないだろうって書いてあるよ。
In mine, it says he doesn't think he'll return to Rockinjima again. Shannon just sitting here. Oof. 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 I knew that all these letters were trials from God. The fact there was no letter for me and the fact that he was enjoying life and had forgotten about Rockinjima, where they were just more trials. God is testing me. The fact that there was no letter for me alone is proof of that. That's what I want to think, but now it's just too much.
あんたにとって大切な約束だったかもしれないそう
Might have been an important promise
バ
to
トラーに
you,
とってはそうではなかったらしい
but
な
it looks like it wasn't for Battler.
そんな。
No way.
それじゃ迎えに来るという約束は
The promise about him coming for you was
夢見がちな私の錯覚か。
I was a dreamer. It was just an illusion I created.
バトラーにとってはちょっとしたカッコつけただけの意味のない言葉だったのかもな
To Battler, they were just meaningless words to make him sound cool. To anyone but her, it would have been a funny story to hear. The promise with Battler might have been an illusion the whole time. In the first place, we didn't know if they felt the same way about each other at all. love is an illusion. However, if both sides are seeing the same illusion, the love becomes true. However, when feelings of each side are different, it's nothing more than a joke.
これがバトラの罪だ。
This is Battler's sin. Yep.
約束と誤解させたこと。
Oh yeah, in case it wasn't obvious, Willard is stating this is the encounter from Arc 4 / Chapter 4, where Beato asks Battler what his sin is or what he's forgotten, and Willard is just outright stating it right here, in case anyone didn't get it already, making Shannon think that it was a promise.
違う。
Wrong.
それを
It's that he
覚えて
didn't
さ
remember.
えいなかったことだ。
Thank you, Willard.
破った約束ならなじることもできる。
If he simply broke his promise, I could have taken him to task for it.
悔いることもある
I
いは
could have
取り返
regretted
す
my
ことも。
mistake, or I could have won him back.
でも覚えてさえいないことは
But you
何も
can't
問い詰
question
めるこ
someone
とが
about
でき
something
ま
they
せん。
don't remember. I beg to differ, people do it all the time.
バトラさんを憎むことなどできません。
And I'm unable to hate
バ
Battler
トラさ
San.
んは約束を破ってさえ
After all, he didn't
い
even
ない
break
ので
his
すから
promise.
ただ初めから
There just wasn't any
約
promise to
束
start
ただ
with.
ただ悲しいだけの
It was nothing more than a sad joke.
滑稽な物語。
I kept on crying and crying. I dug my fingernails into my pillow, soaking it with my tears. How much easier would it be to hate something? But I can't hate anything. I just couldn't get over my miserable arrogance, which led me to believe for 3 whole years that he felt the same as I did.
わらわのせいだ。
I'm to blame for this.
わらわが無責任にもバトラが約束してくれたかのようにそなたに不意調し
My
てしまったのだ。
irresponsible words led you to believe Battler made a promise.
いいえ、誰も悪くないんです。
Not anyone's fault.
私が彼の気持ちも私と同じだと
All because I
決めつ
assumed
けてしまっ
he
た
た
felt
か
the same way I did.
約束こそバトラはしなかった。
Battler made no
しか
promise.
しバトラの気持ちは
And yet
決
his
していい
feelings,
加減なものでは
they
な
were
かったは
surely
ず。
sincere.
そなたのそれに比べれば確かに多少の温度差はあろ
Though there might have been a difference in degree when compared
う。
to
しか
yours.
し
True,
そ
he
なた
liked
の
you.
ことを好いていたのは間違いない。それだけは間違いない。
There can be no doubt. Of that, there can be many a doubt.
も
Please just
うやめて
stop.
ください。私が好きなように彼も私を好きだと何の疑いもなく信じてきました。
I believed he liked me the way I liked him without ever doubting
慰
me.
めないでくださ
Oh, don't try to cheer me up.
い。むしろ
I'd rather
嘲笑ってください。
rather you mocked me. Before I knew it, a dull, inescapable pain had pierced my chest, and when I pressed my hand against my chest, I realized what that pain was. It was the bud of love whose seeds I had sown and nurtured in my heart. Its roots spread all the way across my chest, and they tormented me like a metal wire wrapped around my heart. They looked less like roots and more like fissures running through my heart. I can only hold back the pain by tearing out the root of love, but no matter how much I scratch at it, I'm only scratching at my chest. The root of love doesn't move at all. If I started hating him without any lingering interest or regrets, I'd be able to pull this root out easily, and once I did, it would probably leave a hole behind, but at least it wouldn't hurt me anymore. But I can't pull it out. Even though it hurts so much, those roots of love are still stuck in my heart.
シャノン。
私、
I-
今も
Even now,
バトラさんのことが大好きです。
I still love Battler.
会いたいです。
I want to
帰
see.
ってきてほしいです。
I want him to come back.
いつかきっと帰ってくると
Please
信
he'll
じて、こ
come
れから
back someday.
も待ち続けた
I
いの
want
に。
to wait for him. For right now.
でも
It's just
ダメなんです。
just too much. As I sobbed, the tightness in my chest grew even stronger. As long as I like Battler-san, that pain will always continue. Because I like him, I want to hold on to that pain forever. But it was written right there in the letters for George Sama and the others. Battler doesn't plan on returning to the Yashiromiya family. He's forgotten about me and Rockin' Jima. He started a new life with a different name. I must wait for him for all eternity, despite how painful, aching, excruciating it is.
これも試練なんですか？
Another trial?
帰ってこない彼を神様はそうおっしゃるのですか？無理です。私はバトラさんと一緒にいたいんです。それを願う試練が
If this is the trial,
これだなんて
I must go through for that.
あまりに辛すぎます。
Just too painful. You're really feeling for Shannon. Kinda just wanna, like, give her a hug. Beatrice hung her head in shame. If she hadn't encouraged Shannon so much, it probably wouldn't have been this painful. She might have been the one to sow the seed of love in her heart, but Beatrice had irresponsibly watered it and told Shannon not to give up. Beatrice scratched at her chest, trying to share Shannon's pain.
これはわらわの咎だ。
It's my fault. Beatrice mumbled to herself.
あなたに何の咎がありましょうか？
ありもしない約束の幻想を見せ、そなたの3年間を苦しめた。
For 3 years, I tortured you with the illusion of a promise that never
わらわ
happened.
がそなたの恋の目を育まねば、今のそなたはこれほ
If
ど
I
に
had not
苦しまなかっ
nourished
た
the
だ
bud
ろう。
of love within you, you wouldn't have suffered so.
シャノン、
Shannon.
冷酷に聞こえるだろうが、
May sound harsh, but
何
listen.
でしょう？
What is it?
バトラ
Forget,
を
Battler.
恋の目などもとよりなかったのだ。
There was no bud of love in the first place. I don't know if Shannon can consciously forget something she doesn't want to forget, or feels emotionally attached to right now. She may wish to, but I don't know if she can. Good luck,
い
Shannon.
いえ、これは私の育んだ恋の
What
目。
you nourished it?
どんなに辛くとも忘れることなどありません。
No matter how painful, I can't forget. Well, the only thing you couldn't replace one love with is a greater love, right?
しかし、
You can't
そ
bear
の
that
痛み
pain
に
any longer, can you?
もう耐えることはできないのである。
Wordlessly, Shannon held her chest and hung her head. I love Battler. The feeling burns inside of me, so I still can't let it go, no matter how much it hurts. I've spent 3 years pretending I didn't feel that pain. Now that I feel it, since I know I can't bear it.
バトラへの恋の目を捨てることは
You
できぬ
can't
か。
throw away your bud of love for Battler?
はい。
Yes.
だがそのままでは、
But at this rate, the bud
その目は
root will
根は
kill you?
そなたを殺してしまう。人は宇宙を持たねば生きられぬ。
People need a universe to
そして
survive.
宇宙は一人では
One
生み出せ
person
ぬ。
cannot create the universe, that
二人いる
universe
のだ。
alone. 2 are needed.
宇宙。
Universe?
そなたは恋の目という宇宙を
Together with Battler, you
Battler
created
と
the
二
universe
人で
of
生み
that
出し
bud
た。
of love.
その片方が欠けたからそなたの宇宙が壊れたの
And
だ。
now that half of that pair is gone, your universe has
人
crumbled.
は宇宙は一人では
People
何も
cannot
成
create
し
a
得ぬの
universe
だ。
on their own.
で
But
も
what if they could? However,
私の宇宙を生み出すもう一
I
人
found
の
the other person who creates my universe.
バトラさんは帰ってきません。
He won't come back.
ならばバトラ以外のものと新しい宇宙を生み出すしかない。
And you must create a new universe with someone else. But Beatrice, that's easier said than done. Much, much easier said than done.
バトラさん以外の誰かと生み出すというのですか？
Create one with someone other than Battler?
その誰か
I will give
を
you
わらわ
such
が
a
与え
person.
よう。
誰かって何ですか？
そなたの心を、傷を埋め、癒してくれる存在だ。
Creature to bury the pain in your heart and heal you.
そやつはそなたを裏切らぬ。
He will not betray you.
そう。そなたの新しい兄弟だ。
Let it be a sibling. Here comes Canon.
そなたに
I'll give you
弟を与えよう。
a little brother.
弟？
Little brother.
福音の家で仲の良かった実の弟のように可愛がってきた少年。
A boy you've always been close to at the Fukuin house. You love as if he were your real brother.
そういう存在をそなたに与えよう。
That I shall give to you.
そやつはそなたと二人で新たな宇宙を築くだろう。
Together with him, you'll create a new universe.
その弟がバトラさんへの恋の痛みを
That
忘れさせてくれ
Will
る
that
のです
little
か？
brother make me forget the pain of my love for Battler?
そうだ。
Correct.
そなたには宇宙が必要だ。
You need a universe.
ではこの胸の
What will happen?
恋の目は
What
どう
will
す
happen?
るのですか？
The bud of love in my heart.
私の
My feelings for Battler won't
バ
change.
トラさんへの気持ちは変わりません。枯れさせることな
I
ど
can't make them wither.
できません。
わらわが
I
代わり
shall.
に引き受けよう。
I shall accept that bud and those roots in your
あな
place.
たが
You will?
そなたは恋の痛みを忘れ新しい宇宙を作り直すことができる。
Forget the pain of love and create a new
恋
universe.
の目はわらわが代わって引き
I'll
受ける。
accept the bud of love in your place.
わらわは痛みをも引き継ぐことになる
Means
が
I'll accept the pain as well.
恋を知ることができる。
But I will learn of the single element I do not possess. Love. Beatrice wanted to know love. She wanted to feel what Shannon had felt in the world of humans.
もし
And
バトラが帰ってくる日が
if
訪
Battler
れたと
returns
まだこの目が枯れずにいてそなたが望んだなら
if the bud is still not withered and you still desire
こ
it,
の目を
I shall return it
そ
to
な
you.
たそれならばどうか。
What do you think of that? Sounds like a deal. Still hanging her head, Shannon gave a small nod but said nothing. It would mean release from this unbearable pain, and it would mean giving the bud of love to the witch to hold in her place. Shannon spread the hands she held to her chest, and as she did, a faint light popped out of her chest and floated in the air, gradually swallowing everything with its brightness. As the brilliant light began to fade away, Shannon and Beatrice, still facing each other, were inside a vast starry sphere like a planetarium. They were the only ones in this pitch-black starry sea. Shannon felt as though she'd seen this place once before, but she couldn't remember. And then I made another
世界を
announcement.
変更
Modify this world.
恋の目をシャノンからベアトリーチェに
Let this bud of love travel from Shannon to Beatrice. This way, Shannon won't be tormented by the bud of love anymore. Furthermore, she'll be given a little brother with whom she can create a new universe. Design for the little brother who will be a younger boy at the Fukuin house with whom Shannon was close. For a name, let there be an on character, or the Oto character, sound character, who cares, as the Fukuin house rules state. I've decided a perfect name to go with Shannon's. He'll be a quiet, reticent boy. He'll come to Rockinjima as a new servant. He'll open his heart to Shannon, and as a duty-minded boy who loves Shannon like a big sister, he'll always be there for her. Let's have him be a special servant like Genji, who's permitted to serve Kinzo directly. Yeah, that sounds kinda cool. Then Beatrice. From now on, you'll carry the bud of love. In other words, the role of being infatuated with Battler and waiting for his return will go to you. While you're still the witch who reigns over Rockinjima's night, you may also have been waiting for Yoshimiya Battler since that day 3 years ago. Along with this change in setting, I'll give you a new form as well. He did tell us what his ideal woman would look like once, remember? A good woman, or a woman with a good figure and long golden hair, like a foreign model. Golden hair, long hair, a good figure, yeah. Something like that. That's what the new Beatrice will look like. Beatrice gets model updates. Come now, hold that bud of love in your heart as you wait for Battler. In this way you will learn of love in exchange for earning pain. This will be the setting for my new world. For Shannon, a new servant like a little brother will come. He'll be a silent, reticent boy. We just read that. A duty-minded kid who loves Shannon like a sister. And the bud of love that tortured Shannon will go to the witch Beatrice, and she'll just be holding on to the bud of love for the time being. However, while she holds on to it, she'll be the maiden in love with Battler. For that time, you'll be able to learn what love is. Come, let the world be modified. I am one, yet many. Awaken us, and stretch your wings in this new world. Man. That's some rough shit, Shannon. Holy crap. That's really tough to manage. Something like that. That's a tough one. This is a tough scenario that I think can destroy anybody. Good fucking luck, Shannon. Holy shit. Alright. Slowly I open my eyes to the gentle rays of the morning sun. How long has it been since I last saw such a pleasant morning? The face in my mirror is tear-stained and pathetic, however my heart is as clear as the morning sun. I can still clearly remember the strange dream, and I can feel myself forgetting it rapidly. The place I was in my dreams had been such a strange place, a beautiful, peaceful, calm place. There I had left behind the pain I carried in my chest until yesterday. So this morning my heart was at peace. Good morning, me. My tear-stained face really is pathetic. But my expression is bright and cheery. Even now, I like Battler-san. But for some reason, I've calmed down. It feels like I've put something precious safely away in the place it belongs. Battler-san, when will you come back, I wonder? When you do, I'd like to talk about mystery novels again. Oh, I almost forgot. A new servant boy will be coming today, right? One of the rare servants who will serve the master directly. What will that kid be? I hope we get along well. What was his name again? I'm pretty sure it was, Canon. Well, it didn't say canon, but I think, we can assume that at this point, right? And 1 year later, oh boy, it just keeps going. 1984, 2 years until the incident. Men in work clothes are spreading a tarp over the section of the hall. Ah, this is going to be the addition of the portrait and the epitaph. And well, that's quite interesting, and I'd like to read about it. I'm afraid we're going to have to leave that until next time.